All right, here we are, guys. Back with the AC Milan news, ready to talk a little bit about Milan. Wasn't able to do it sooner. The week schedule was not permitting, but we are back for some action. A lot to talk about today. A lot to talk about. Oh, look who we got here, Gian Mario. What's up, my man? How you doing? You are welcome to come in if you want. I'm going to go over some Milan news. It is going to be awesome. Amir, how are you doing, my brother? How are you doing? All right, guys, let's get into it. Straight away, I want to talk about Donnarumma and what he's doing and what's going on with Donnarumma. A lot is going on. So, a lot of rumors, a lot of things that we hear, you know, on the news and in other places. Is it all true? Is it all facts? Who knows? I don't think so. I think a lot of it is just BS. But let's go through the news of the day. Let's go through the news of the day. Lucas, how are you doing, my friend? We want Ari back. Yes, I say that too. Guys, I'm the first one that says that. I am the first person that says we want Ari back. But good news is that Ari is going to be back in the U.S., I believe, this weekend. So now, from next week onwards, Lucas, Ari is going to be back and sharing his AC Milan wisdom. Here you go. Bada bing, bada boom. All right, gentlemen, let's go through through these reports. Let's start with Donnarumma. And Jan, our contributor Jan, is going to be joining us in a minute. And I'm curious to see what Jan says. I'm very curious to see what Jan says about these reports. All right, so let's start. AC Milan appear no closer to solving either of their ongoing renewal sagas at present, according to a report from one journalist. In Luca Marchetti's latest edition of TMW, he states that there could be a strength for Milan in the last weeks of negotiations. In fact, no other offers have arrived for Gianluigi Donnarumma and Hakan Çalhanoğlu to evaluate. Regarding the former, an offer of $6 million net per season plus $1 million bonuses for 5 years was rejected. Obviously, $6 million. Obviously, $6 million is not enough to satisfy those greedy pockets. What's up, Jan? Can you hear me?
Yeah, Mum.
Hey, Jan, how you doing, my friend?
Yeah, good, thank you. I just thought I'd quickly jump on for 10 minutes before I have my dinner.
Yes, absolutely. Jan, we're going over, Donnarumma and his situation. We're just looking at some reports. What are your feelings about Donnarumma in general? What do you see happening?
Honestly, I think it's going to come down to him signing a contract, and I think we're going to sell him in the summer.
Oh, so you think that they are going to sign a contract and then Milan is going to exploit the price tag?
Yeah, I think I can see it going that way. I just think he's burnt a lot of bridges now at Milan, especially with the fans more so. And once you burn bridges with fans, like you look at someone like Paolo Maldini, who with the Curva Sud burnt all these. Well, didn't necessarily burn bridges, but they're like they have been on good terms. They kind of ruined his last game of the season with the booing, etc. His very last game at Milan. If they can do that to someone that's won 5 Champions Leagues, they haven't got the same loyalty towards Donnarumma, who's, played in the Europa League a couple of times. So I do think it's the end for him now. I mean, look, if he stays, then I suppose, it's good. We've got a top quality keeper, but for me, I'd rather him just leave now because I just don't want to come back to the same situation again in 5 years' time.
Yes, that is definitely going to happen. We definitely know that. And is it really a question about, do we want players that are managed by Raiola? Because it always comes down to Raiola. He's the main problem, his style of negotiating.
At the end of the day, I'd say, yeah, in a sense, but when you think about it, the people that are really to blame here are the footballers. If you hire someone like Raiola, you know exactly what you're hiring him for. You're hiring him to get more money. You're hiring him to get the best deal possible, to find you the best clubs, and you know his negotiation tactics that come with it. So
you're absolutely right about that.
Raiola can pull you from pillar to post, try to get you to sign whatever club. But if you're truly happy somewhere, then you just stay at that club at the end of the day, don't you? You just sign a contract and it's done.
I cannot disagree with you there. If you are deciding to work with Raiola, you know exactly what comes with that.
Exactly, you know the consequences. It's like if you want to get skinny, but you choose to eat at McDonald's every day, you know what's going to happen to you. So just don't go for the greedy people and try to stick with a healthier option. But if that's the mentality or the lifestyle you want, then you're going to go do that.
Yes, I definitely agree. There is something to be said about these players that choose Raiola as an agent. Did you see how De Bruyne, how he negotiates his contracts?
Yeah, exactly. He went in by himself, like Ibra on the last ones. He's just done it without Raiola, and Raiola's his agent. But I think it's a bit different because Ibra's at the final stage of his career now, where he doesn't necessarily need money, needs an agency, blah blah blah. De Bruyne, I suppose, in a way, he's happy at Man City. So again, he's kind of like towards the final stage of his career now, where he can just sort of stay there, be happy. He doesn't need an agent. So it's a bit different when I think that the players are younger, because 10 years ago would De Bruyne have done it without an agent? I highly doubt. So there is a bit of a difference there.
Yeah. De Bruyne is much younger. In case anybody doesn't know what De Bruyne did, De Bruyne doesn't have an agent. He negotiates his contracts by himself based on data analytics. Basically, he shows his contribution to the team, his stats, his data, and then there's this algorithm, this assessment that he comes up with, and this is how he did it. I mean, I guess he can afford to do that because his stats are pretty high, but I guess other players wouldn't want to take that risk. Not even, listen to what Necklord says, John. Not even Manuel Neuer gets 10 million a year, and he's won everything. Why should Donnarumma?
Exactly. That's what I agree with. Like, look, Donnarumma is going to go right to he probably will go right to the very top in terms of goalkeeping, but he hasn't played a minute of Champions League football. He's got 20 appearances for the national team. There's only so much you can give a player without that experience yet. And is that his fault because he's chose to stay at Milan in them rough periods? No, but it's one thing coming up against Kevin Lasagna every year and other players like that than it is when you're playing in the Champions League and you're coming up against players like Erling Haaland, Kylian Mbappe, Sergio Aguero, Salah. That you're talking then players at the very, very top, and we've seen recently that he's prone to a few mistakes, and obviously it's not just all down on him, but when you're asking for the money that he's asking for, you can't be making mistakes really, like he's doing, or letting the goals in that he's doing. So
I agree with that. Listen to what this article says, Jen, and let me know what you think. So obviously we know that Raiola's demand is 12 million a year, which is astronomical. Obviously that's never going to happen. But this is what Milan have offered: is a 2-year contract, 7 million plus 1 million in bonuses, with a 30 to 35 million clause in case of non-participation in the Champions League. So that's interesting. Even this was refused as well. Yeah, go ahead.
I think it's totally fair. And do you know what? At the same time, I think it's a fair transfer value when you weigh like the market situation, how long he's got left to run on his contract. But I just think he's not many clubs are coming in for him because they know that he's asking 12 million, and that's for his boyhood club. Well, supposed boyhood club. If someone like PSG are going to come in for him, he's going to want more from them. And clubs like that, they don't need to keep. And I keep saying it every week. They don't need that type of player, so they're not going to pay it. And I genuinely believe he hasn't got that many offers on the table. I think his only concrete one's Juventus, but I think he's asking for a bit of a death wish by going there, like not actual death before anyone, but if you know what I mean. He'd burn all bridges. He'd lose respect with pretty much everybody. It'd be a hostile situation for when he's playing for the national team, when he plays against Milan, when he visits the San Siro, stuff like that. It'd be horrible. And I think the thing that gets to me the most is it's not the fact that he's leaving, because when you've seen Kaká leave, you've seen Shivchenko leave, Pirlo leave, all these top players leave the club. That's not the bit that hurts. It's the bit when they say that they want to stay at the club, or that they love the club, that they kiss the badge of the club, and then they go to a rival like Pirlo did. That hurt, and he won loads with us. For Donnarumma to do it, he hasn't won anything with us. He's won a Supercoppa Italiana, and that's it. So I'm not going to be hurt about a potential generational talent leaving. I just wish he'd do it with some dignity and some respect, and just say, look, guys, I've got ambitions. I want to play in the Champions League. I want to play for the best teams. I want to win league titles. I don't see that happening at Milan in the next, say, 3 to 4 years. But I see it happening elsewhere, and I think I've given my all, and I want to leave. And what he should have done, he should have said that last summer, and he should have said, that's what I want to happen. I want to leave. See you later.
Yes,
and we should have sold him, and not let him run his contract down. Not play the fans like a fiddle. Run your contract down, and then leave for free. You don't love a club if you do that. There's got to be a level of respect somewhere where you say, look, just get what you can from me. I'm not going to renew my contract, and that's it. I've done with it.
Yeah, and some of the things you said regarding dignity and class, we know that if a player chooses to be with Raiola, that is out of the window. Another thing you said about, they're leaving it to the last moment, something that I actually spoke to you again the last time you were here on the channel. I asked you, is it Milan's fault that they're leaving this to the last minute? Shouldn't they have dealt with this much sooner?
In a way, yes, they should have. But imagine if someone said to you, look, obviously we're not in on negotiations, but let's pretend that you're Maldini and I'm Donnarumma. And I say to you, look, I'm going to renew. This is where I want to be. We'll be tranquil about it all. We'll get it done, like, away from the transfer season, stuff like that. Why wouldn't you believe him? So you believe him. You have every intention of him renewing, and then stunts like this get pulled. I really don't think it's on the management, because they can offer contracts, and if the player don't want to sign, they kind of got their hands turned in. Again, this is where maybe Raiola does come into it and saying, look, just leave. We'll go somewhere else. Just run down your contract, etc. So I think it's totally on the player more than it is the management. But that's just what I wanted to say. I'm going to have to go because my dinner is ready, but I just want to quickly jump on.
Hey, Jan, thank you so much, man. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much, my man. I'll see you again soon, hopefully, on our next podcast. See you, my friend.
Definitely, man.
All right. Thank you to Jan for his contribution there. Necklord88 says he's only in it for the money, no love for the club. It is obvious. All right, guys, let me continue finishing this. Basically, Milan have offered Donnarumma 7 million plus 1 million in bonuses and a release clause in case Milan does not make it into the Champions League. So we'll see what this brings. And according to reports, Milan already does have a replacement. They have a few replacements. I'm going to show you some other reports of always transfer market rumors about possible replacements. So let's keep on finishing this article. Even this was refused as Raiola wants 12 million. And something Jan just brought up right there regarding, these players. What if, Donnarumma was at PSG? How much would he be asking? 25 million? What if he was with Manchester City, So this greed for money, if anybody really wanted the Super League to happen, that would be Raiola, and we can definitely bet millions of dollars on that. Even this was refused as Raiola wants the full 12 million plus or lower clause. I mean, that's a pretty low clause in itself. You know what? Fuck Raiola. Fuck this man. But they have no intention of raising their offer, and that is why they have secured Mike Maignan of Lille for 12 million plus bonuses. Okay, so this is one of the names that has been in the Milan's radar, which is the Lille goalkeeper. And Lille this season is having a breakthrough season, so obviously, that should be a good replacement. Other replacements could be Juventus are tempted to move for Donnarumma, but they would have to sell Szczesny first, and also their qualification for the Champions League is at risk, it seems. I wonder if Szczesny would play for Milan. I think Szczesny would be a good player for Milan. Szczesny seems to have a good head over his shoulders. He doesn't seem to be in the news for contracts. This thing about Donnarumma being in the news for contract negotiation seems to be something that is going to follow his whole career, because it's been like this so far. But I want to keep on going with this Donnarumma thing because I have some other reports that are quite interesting. So here we go. And then later on, we're going to discuss a little bit about Pioli. And I'm going to have you guys come in here. Anybody who wants to come here in the chat, in the live, and tell me why you think Pioli should stay or he should go. I am free and willing to listen to you. All right, let's keep on going with Donnarumma. All right, here we go. Now, this article I thought was very interesting. Very, very interesting. And hold on, let me find it. I have a lot of things up here, so where is it? We're going to look for once, 5 pairs. Allegri, guys, might be joining Juventus next year. I don't know what you guys think about that. Here it is. All right, so here's another option that Milan, which could be interesting. I wonder what the Milanisti think about this. La Repubblica, via Milan reports, are reporting that AC Milan have reached an agreement with AS Roma goalkeeper Antonio Mirante to join this summer. The goalkeeper is a Serie A veteran, having played in the league for Parma, Bologna, Sampdoria, and even Juventus, with 368 appearances in the league. That is a lot. He will join on a free transfer as he is not looking to renew with Roma this summer. In his most recent spell, he has been with AS Roma for the past 3 seasons, where he has played 33 games for them and kept 13 clean sheets. Almost half the games. Not bad. The 37-year-old is reportedly 37? Man, that's my age. The 37-year-old is reportedly going to replace current backup goalkeeper Ciprian Tatarusano. Okay, so they're thinking of him as a second goalkeeper. And maybe Tatarusano is going to be third. Let's see. Which seems, considering he has a contract running until 2023 with Rossoneri, he could likely be brought in to replace Antonio Donnarumma, whose contract... Okay, so Antonio Donnarumma, we know, is leaving the club at the end of the season. So I believe this is either to strengthen the second goalkeeper position or the third goalkeeper position. But it does say they have reached an agreement. Antonio Mirante in the mix, would make the club stronger. Would make it stronger for sure. Amir says, Necklord, Neuer and Buffon didn't make this money, but if Madrid and Man City and Juve are willing to offer him 10 million, then that's not an argument. I mean, that's the thing, Amir. You are absolutely right about that. If there's a team out there that is willing to give Donnarumma the money that they want, I mean, who are we to say that he shouldn't accept it? What we are hanging on to is his is his love for the club. And guys, and I'm going to finish the Donnarumma segment with this report here, which I think is a very interesting report. All right, here's our last Donnarumma section. Here we go. Here it is. Aha. Obviously, guys, these are all rumors, but who knows? Who knows if it's true or not? All to be seen. Okay, hold on. I really need to get better internet. I'm planning to update my system here and have for you guys some top quality AC Milan news segments. They are going to be incredible. So give me 1 second. Let me see what's going on here. I'll tell you what I think in the meantime about Donnarumma. So, this is not anything new. Donnarumma has been in the news because of money and contracts for a long time. If you guys remember a few years ago when he was playing in the national team, they threw all those, fake dollar bills at him. His name was Donnarumma. But in the end, he stayed with AC Milan. I seriously still believe that these are just the tactics that Raiola adopts in order to get what he wants and to get closer to the number he wants. But I literally think this is what I believe, guys, and then I might be completely wrong. But this is what I believe. I believe that Raiola, in his classless, no dignity, soulless body, he still understands that AC Milan, from a technical perspective, from a career perspective, is still the best choice for Donnarumma. And I still think that Raiola is smart enough to know that if he wants his player to grow even further, he should stay at Milan. And I think that at the end of all this crazy roller coaster of a negotiation, he will stay at AC Milan. That is my belief, but obviously things can change. All right, so here we go, guys. Let me get this article here. Where is it? Here it is. All right. Very interesting article. Let me see. All right. Gianluigi Donnarumma has reportedly told those close to him what he plans to do regarding his future. A journalist has claimed. All right. So when you have a report that says a journalist has claimed, these unverified sources, you gotta look at it with a grain of salt. But here it is. There is now just over 2 months left on Donnarumma's contract, and with no sign of an imminent signature or an agreement over a new deal. Supporters are beginning to panic, and the media has been able to whip up a frenzy akin to the soap opera back in 2017, and that is what I was referring to earlier. According to what has been reported by journalists and Milan insider Pietro Bolzano, Prota, Donnarumma has told his teammates and friends many times that he wants to stay in Milan, adding, "This is a fact." Let's highlight that. So Donnarumma is saying that he does want to stay at Milan. So very interesting. Of course, it'll be necessary to turn such words into gesture and accept the offer that has been put forward, so the speculation can all be put to bed, and Milan can go about trying to secure a top 4 place. So I believe that. I sincerely believe that Donnarumma wants to stay at Milan, but I think Donnarumma is just playing hard to catch, kind of like that girl in high school that was really tough to catch, and she really made you work for her. So that's what Donnarumma is doing. He is definitely doing that. I think he is going to stay with AC Milan. I think that they are going to. I think that what there probably might be the last contract negotiation might be 8 million plus bonuses. I think that is what we're going to settle for. 8 million plus bonuses. Hopefully, if they make the Champions League. Anyway, guys, so that is all we have for you as far as Donnarumma goes. Um, you know, we have said on this channel, and many people have said that having a great goalkeeper doesn't really mean that you can that how that a great goalkeeper will make you win trophies. I mean, yes and no. If you look at Buffon and his impact on the team, how positive his impact on the team was with Juventus during they reached their peak with Italy, Manuel Neuer with Germany, Schmeichel with Denmark. There's a lot of Iker Casillas with Spain and Barca and Real Madrid. So goalkeepers do definitely have their part. They can make a save that can change one save, one spectacular super save can change a season. So goalkeepers definitely have their part, and also goalkeepers, in a way, organize the team. A goalkeeper's shouting. A goalkeeper sees what's coming towards him and what's going away from him. So a goalkeeper does have a technical and tactical ability to influence how a team performs. So goalkeepers are definitely important. But as far as AC Milan goes, we have seen ever since the beginning that AC Milan hasn't really ever needed a top goalkeeper in order to achieve the successes it has achieved. If we look down at, who was it? Galli, I believe. Galli in 88. Then Sebastiano Rossi in the 90s. Then you had, the Abbiati in the late 90s, early 2000s. Then you had Dida, that was in and out. When Dida came in, he was like a second goalkeeper, by the way. Dida never came in as a first goalkeeper. Dida came in as a second goalkeeper. And Dida, with Dida, which is the closest that we have as far as memory goes, how great was Dida? Dida was Dida better than Donnarumma? Not with his feet, for sure. Donnarumma is better than Dida with his feet. We've seen so many mistakes from Dida that it is absolutely incredible. Yet that team won everything there is to win in club football. So there goes that. We'll see what happens next. All right, let's move on to our next topic. A bunch of transfer market rumors. And let's see what the transfer market rumors say. Okay, let's start with this article here that showed 5 possible replacements for Çalhanoğlu. Very interesting. Very interesting. Where is it? Here it is. 5 playmakers that could replace Çalhanoğlu. Here we go. And who knows if any of these would ever come to fruition. Amidst interest from several top English clubs and a drop in form, Hakan Çalhanoğlu's future with AC Milan is in serious doubt. The attacking midfielder played a crucial role in his club's sudden improvement after the COVID pause last season, but it now appears that a parting of ways is imminent unless there is a turning point in negotiations. Yes, sir. Stefano Pioli can use Çalhanoğlu's upcoming departure to upgrade his squad at a key. Sorry, I'm getting a call here. A key position, and the Rossoneri have already been linked with several possible replacements. Milan would most likely look to acquire a classic number 10, a player who can both create chances as a second striker and help connect the 2 deep playing midfielders with the wingers and the forward. So let's go through these players that they have put together. Before that, let me read what Amir says. These new kids don't love the club anymore. It's all about money. It's like the old days. Man City and PSG has ruined football. Amir, I'm going to challenge you with something. You know who started this trend? It was Berlusconi. Berlusconi started this trend of of these high wages, buying players and spending a lot of money. He is the one that kind of gave the ideas to like Chelsea, and then Man City and all. And then obviously now the numbers have gone out of this world. But if we have to be quite honest, we also have to put some of the blame to Milan itself. But I do agree with you that Man City and PSG, they are definitely putting out numbers there that are not realistic. Anyway, Rodrigo de Paul is the first one. 26 years old, Argentinian, right foot. We all know how Rodrigo de Paul plays. So that's option number one. Option number two, Mateo Pesina from Atalanta, age 23. And we know that his contract is very peculiar because Milan can buy him at 50% off. Pesina has had an incredible season with Atalanta, currently second as a starting player. But look at his numbers, though. Let's see. Does it show his numbers here? No. But Pesina is definitely a very interesting player to look at. Florian Thauvin, 28, World Cup winner. The midfielder has been one of the best players in League One, scoring 86 career goals along with 44 assists. Not bad. 28. Fubin has already spent 9 seasons in French League. Has the 4th most appearances in Marseille history. Okay. So we all know that Fabian is a very interesting player that has been on Milan's radar. Filip Juric from Sassuolo. I say absolutely not. 29. I don't think why even put him in the list there. Nikola Vlasic, another Sassuolo player. No, Nikola Vlasic, Croatian. He is playing in the Russian Premier League. Registered 28 goals and 15 assists for Moscow. So those are the 5 players that could possibly join AC Milan in replacement of Çalhanoğlu. Out of those 5, I would give precedence to Pesina because he is the youngest one, and right now he is second on the Serie A. Pesina is having an extraordinary season, and we have the 50% off deal. So why not go for Pesina right away? Why not get him in the mix right away, regardless of Çalhanoğlu stays or doesn't stay? Remember, Milan in its past has had many good players on the bench as well. Look, if you need if you want a team that wins big trophies, you need players on the bench that would be first team starters in any other team in Europe. So, the more the merrier, I say. And also, it does look like the Champions League, the way the new format is, there are going to be more games. So we're going to need more players. As simple as that. All right, let's move on to other transfer market rumors that are very interesting. Let's go to Fikayo Tomori. Fikayo Tomori has had a very interesting season so far. He's been getting a lot of love from the AC Milan fans. Whether or not they gave him a little bit too much love, because of his first adrenaline-induced experiences for Milan. But, the more time passes, the more games go along, the more we see his limitations. And we saw that a little bit in the Champions League at first, and then, in the Europa League at first. And then as he kept on playing in the Serie A, we've seen him make a bunch of mistakes when it comes to positioning. especially positioning. That's all it is, really. Just his positioning, the way he marks. We've seen it, like the goal against Lazio was pretty embarrassing. Correa literally made him look like a child. So anyway, but let's look at what the reports are saying regarding Fikayo Tomori. Da, 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 da. Here we go. Chelsea defender. Here we go. Chelsea defender Fikayo Tomori. Yeah, ads. Chelsea defender Fikayo Tomori has largely impressed. Are keen. The 23-year-old. I hate these websites. Can we get rid of this ad right here? That is in the middle. All right. Okay. You know what? Fuck these stupid websites with a million ads. It's stupid. Why even waste your time clicking on these stupid fucking websites with a million ads? All right. Anyway, so I'll read the report and I'll just tell you what was said. So basically, Maldini and co have had a meeting with and to they've discussed what his Fikayo Tomori at 25 million pounds, maybe a little bit less. So Chelsea is being a little bit reluctant to not sell the player less than 25 million pounds. Milan is trying to see if they can get a little bit of a discount. But Milan is definitely very interested in keeping this player. Milan is definitely very interested in keeping this player and wanting him to continue with AC Milan and grow with AC Milan. So it looks like the pawns have been put on the chessboard in attack formation, and they're going to go for this player. But I want to talk about Fikayo Tomori a little bit. We need to really understand whether or not this player is as good as we say he is. Just because he had a few performances, just because he started off really well, we kind of seem to have adopted him as this, the next Baresi, especially in a period in which the fans completely went against Romagnoli and completely destroyed Romagnoli because of his poor performance season during that part of the season where he was getting burned really fast by a lot of players. So it was a perfect storm for Fikayo Tomori, for a player to be there in replace of Romagnoli right in the right moment at the right, But we have seen his limitations. We have seen the mistakes he is capable of making. We have seen him, he was like against Sassuolo. Raspadori is under 21. He's an under 21 Italian national team player, and Raspadori definitely made Fikayo Tomori look like a child when he dribbled around him. Then we had Correa. Correa made Fikayo Tomori look like a child when he dribbled around him. So, is Tomori really this amazing defender that is going to save Milan's defense? I don't know. What I think is that he's a very good defender, but he's young and he has a lot of time to grow. And hopefully Milan do keep him, and hopefully in the years to come he will develop into a top level defender. At the expense of Romagnoli? No, I don't think so. Romagnoli should stay in the club. I think the fans were very harsh on Romagnoli. I think fans in general have a very short memory, and we kind of forget what Romagnoli's impact was, you know, during that part of the season where Milan was kicking ass. Romagnoli was the captain. He was always there. He messes up 3 games, all of a sudden, you know, he needs to go. I don't really look at it that way. So I think having the 3 top defenders like Romagnoli, Fikayo Tomori, and Kjaer at your disposal for next season is a good starting point. So let's add Fikayo Tomori to the mix, but let's not necessarily get rid of Romagnoli, even though right now there are contract discussions with him too. So I wonder if Fikayo Tomori is really this great player that everybody's saying he is. Regardless of that, he's only 25 million pounds in this current market. That's a good price. So I really do hope so that they will get him and that he can continue his career at AC Milan. All right, let me see if there are any other news transfer markets I wanted to look at today. So we spoke about Donnarumma. I'm not going to talk about Ibra's betting scandals or whatever, because I'm not interested. This is a story that has been going on for about 3 or 4 years now. Well, this story started in 2018. So talking about it right now, it's like, okay, you know, we're just going back in time. Okay, let's see some interviews that some Milan players have had recently that I think are very interesting. Let's start with Mate. Mate recently had an interview, just a few words, and he said some interesting stuff. But he did say that he believes that Milan is not suffering from physical problems. He thinks that it's just more, you know, psychological issues. That one chain reaction, one thing goes wrong, then it creates a chain reaction of other things to go wrong. Mr. Sahif, how you doing, my sir? Good to see you. We need a difference maker in number 10, someone that can provide consistent numbers. This isn't a position to gamble on youth players. Joga Benito. Yeah, you're right. But Milan has had youth that, like Kaká, was a puppy when he came to AC Milan, and he was a puppy with really long teeth. Really, really long teeth. All right, so let's look at what Mate's situation is, and then we'll move away from the transfer market. Here we go. All right. At the moment, AC Milan are not convinced about buying Salio Mate from Torino on a permanent basis, according to a report. Mate joined Milan on a loan with option to buy a deal from Torino during the January transfer window. And while he has made 12 league appearances for the Rossoneri, there are still doubts about whether the management will trigger the buyout and make him a permanent signing. He has often altered good performances with ones where he has been anonymous and has appeared not to offer the same guarantees as Kessie, Benacer, and Ortonali. According to Calciomercato.com, Milan have not yet made a final decision on Mate's future. To buy him permanently, it would cost $8 million, which is not bad, even though the 27-year-old French midfielder is a player that Pioli holds in high regard. He has not completely convinced in these first months. Let's see. Okay. Mr. Safe says, I do not think we should get a playmaker. I think a change of formation to 4-4-2 with a couple of extra additions should be enough. Teams have figured us out. And yes, Safe, we are going to get to that. And Safe, you are welcome to join the stream when I get to that segment regarding Pioli and tactics. That's when I'm going to open the lines for anybody that wants to come up and give me a reason why Pioli should stay, why Pioli should go, and what he is messing, and what he is doing right, what he is doing wrong. So stick here for a little bit longer, safe. And I know they want to come up and give us a few words, and I am looking forward to that. Now, the other interesting article that came out that I want to cover was a Shivchenko article out of Shivchenko. As some of you guys remember, if you're old enough to remember, Shivchenko was joined AC Milan in the year 2000, I believe, and stayed with AC Milan from 2000 till 2006, I believe. Shevchenko was the very first time a top player was sold, like a top player was sold. It was the beginning of the end of the AC Milan's capital dominance, I would say, due to many factors, due to the laws in Italy that had prohibited transfer wages. Basically, in the 2000 early 2000s, or the laws in Italy changed. So now, the tax laws were just so high. For example, if you were paying a player 6 million, you're actually paying him 12 million, because the government was getting 50% of that. So that really crippled Italian football on a whole, and gave way to the Premier League and La Liga. Now all of a sudden, all the top players were going over there. Plus, Berlusconi had a $5 million lawsuit. So the end was nigh. The end was nigh, and we saw it. We started to see it. Shevchenko left, but he had this very interesting interview. I don't want to read the whole thing. I'm just going to read some of it. Here we go. All right. Shevchenko reveals how he joined Milan, why leaving wasn't a mistake, and the wound that still bleeds. I'm sure we know what he's referring to there. Andriy Shevchenko won every possible title during his time with AC Milan, including a Ballon d'Or, and ended as the club's second highest goal scorer. So right now, to this day, Shevchenko is the second highest goal scorer of AC Milan, with 175 goals in 322 appearances. That is pretty good. That is almost 50%, I believe, rate. Only behind Swedish marksman Gunnar Nordahl. Okay, Gunnar Nordahl, the top goal scorer of AC Milan. It'd be nice to make a video about Gunnar Nordahl. In an exclusive interview with Corriere della Sera, he spoke about various topics, including his arrival in Milan, the club's infamous meltdown in 2005 Champions League final against Liverpool, and the subsequent transfer to Chelsea. All right. Speaking of his initial playing days, he said, "Not once did I think of giving up. I was hungry. I wanted to be successful in what I love doing. The first time I signed with Milan, my first real contract, I refused to look at the figure written on it." Interesting. Arredo Braida, Milan's sporting director. Arredo Braida, which I don't know if you guys remember, he was the second hand to a Galliani. Okay, guys, look at this. Milan was very close to signing Gareth Bale. I believe it was during when Leonardo was the coach. But Braida, this man, Arredo Braida, was against it because he thought that Gareth Bale wasn't going to become anything special. All right, so there you have it. There you have it. This is what happens when people are into their ego, and when then choosing the best player for AC Milan becomes a sport of egos. But On the other hand, he was instrumental in buying a player like Shivchenko, which this says right here. Milan sporting director from 22 to 2013 was instrumental in luring the Ukrainian talent to Italy. He spoke of how Braida brought CEO Adriano Galliani to Ukraine to watch him play and what followed. Thanks to Braida, we saw something in me that I didn't even know I had, which is very interesting because I as someone that coaches football, I definitely see that a lot of players don't really understand their full potential because they just don't know. They just don't know. They don't have the knowledge, and they're young. And you can definitely take a player and turn him into a superstar if you see the qualities. When he took Galliani to Ukraine to see me, I played a hideous game, but he defended me. And when he came to my house to convince me to sign, he gave me a Rossoneri shirt with my name on it. You will win the Ballon d'Or with this one, he told me. My father and I laughed. He was right. Very interesting. His first Champions League came in 2020 and 03. We all remember that one of the most boring finals in the history of the sport, but doesn't matter because we celebrated at the end. When Milan ousted Juventus on penalties, but it was his second final that gave him tough memories. Well, it gave us all tough memories, not just Shevchenko. It is a wound that still bleeds, they wrote, that between the first and the second half, we let ourselves go to celebrate. All lies. Rather, Paolo Maldini was the first to say to be careful, that Liverpool would not give up, even if they were down 0-3. We repeated it to each other. The final loss was a stab in the heart for the Rossoneri, and personally for Shevchenko, who says he still, to this day, he wakes up in the middle of the night screaming. The final loss was okay. All right. So now there he talks about his thoughts and feelings regarding that game. We all know. We can all skip that. Okay, let's talk about this. Let's see. Roman Abramovich Chelsea showed keen interest in signing the current Ukraine coach after the current Ukraine coach after Challenge final year at the San Siro, where he returned for a season-long loan spell in 2020. Yeah, his return was absolutely disastrous. Speaking of which, Shevchenko said he needed a new experience, which he doesn't view as a mistake, but it was a mistake. Every top player that has left Milan, the same thing has happened. They have not been able to repeat. Let's look at Kaká, let's look at Shevchenko. They're not been able to repeat those same things, those same performances with these other clubs. Maybe Pirlo is different. Pirlo is the case. I knew it was a mistake for him to leave. We all knew it was a mistake. Everybody knew that it was a mistake because Milan was a special club at the time, and the way Ancelotti was using his players, he wouldn't have gotten that anywhere else. In Chelsea, the superstar, the darling of the fans was Didier Drogba at that time. Shevchenko was not going to replace Didier Drogba. No way. Galliani and Berlusconi tried to keep me in every way. Milan was my home, but I had chosen. Roman had been courting me for 3 years. I was 30. It was the right time to have a new experience. I missed the rematch with Liverpool, and Chelsea didn't go well. Too many physical problems, but it wasn't a mistake. Shevchenko will be forever remembered by the Milan faithful as voracious striker capable of producing stunning moments in the final third. A true marksman whose eyes for goal instilled fear in defenders. So we are talking about the second most prolific striker of AC Milan's history, which is big. We're not talking about anyone, just any random person. Skillard says, give Gigio 12 million. Needs to keep 38 clean sheets, though. Yeah, 100%. Kangoo says, how good is Mirante? Paul Lopez is injured. Man United fans. Okay, so is Mirante playing right now? I believe Mirante is playing right now. Roma and Manchester United are playing in the Europa League right now. The score is 1-1, but it's Roma, guys. it's Roma. Roma has no ability to play in Europe. But Mirante, who seems to have reached an agreement with AC Milan for next season as a second choice or third choice, is currently right now playing in the Europa League, according to Kangoo, I believe. All right, let's move on from this topic. A really quick topic to discuss or to look before. Oh, guys, Roma just scored a second goal against United at. All right, tell me something. How the fuck is it possible that Roma can score 2 goals? Roma can score 2 goals at Old Trafford. Roma, a fucking team that has 20% ball possession. Roma lost 7-1 last time they played, a long time ago. And right now they're winning 2-1 against Manchester. How the fuck did AC Milan not be able to beat Manchester United? How the fuck did AC Milan not be able to score 2 goals against Manchester United? And Roma, a team that is 7th or 8th or whatever the fuck it is, a team that has absolutely been disgusting all year, can't just score 2 goals against Solskjaer's team. Tell me why. This boils me. It makes me so angry. We saw that Milan was a better team. Milan played the better football. How the fuck is this even possible? All right. Eastbourne says, Pioli out. Skinner said, we scored 2 goals at Old Trafford, but ref was bought off. Very true. Pioli ball disaster class. Roma making Italian proud. Hey, Joel, what's up? Yeah, so Roma making Italian proud, but I'm not happy, Joel. I'm not happy. In 30 minutes, Roma has scored 2 goals against Manchester United. In 30 minutes, Roma has scored 2 goals against Manchester United. In fucking 90 minutes of game, in 180 minutes, Milan was able to only score 1 goal. Roma 2 in 30 minutes. Explain that to me. Whatever. Let's keep on. Let's keep on moving before I break something. Because I'm about to break something. I'm literally about to punch the fucking screen. I just miss the old Milan, man. We're not who we used to be. But let me say something, Joel. Milan has had this up and down throughout its whole existence. Milan has, because when Milan started, in the 50s, the late 50s, Milan started to emerge and they won the first international trophy, the Coppa Latina. I believe that was 56, I think. And then in 58, they made it to the Champions League final against Real Madrid. But Real Madrid won. Then in I think in 63, they made it into the final against Benfica, and Milan won against Eusebio's team. Eusebio was like the Maradona of the time, and then they had 6 years of kind of like going down, but in 69 they came back up, winning against Ajax 4-1. Beautiful game, guys. If you watch that game, it's tiki-taka. It's better than Barcelona's Guardiola. Like a lot of people, a lot of us youngsters, we kind of think that, Guardiola was the first one to play this incredible football, but incredible football has been played throughout the whole century. If you look at the goals that AC Milan scored in that game, if you look at the combinations, it's 1-2, 1-2, the header, back heel, just sombreros, incredible football. So 90, but then between 69 and 88, that is 20 years. Milan went 20 years of complete silence. 20 years. They even went down to the Serie B. So, in my 30 years plus of supporting Milan, I've seen this up and down. So I'm not too worried about Milan being down right now. I know it is in the club's nature and tradition to get back up to the top. It's just a matter of time. Eastbourne, Arsenal getting humiliated by Villarreal, so we might see Villarreal versus Roma in the final. Oh, really? What is the score? Only a liar would say that he's not hurt by our loss to Manchester United. Yes. I hated that loss. I hated it. To be honest with you, Man U shouldn't give a shit about the Europa. They're already in Champions League. And that is a good point. That is a good point. Like, why the fuck does Manchester United need to win the Europa League? They're already in the Champions League. Let another team win it, Let Roma win it. All right. Okay, guys, let's move on to the last thing I wanted to cover before getting into Pioli. Let's go. Da-da-da-da. So here we go. Allegri has agreement. There it is. All right, guys. A familiar name. A familiar name from our past. Man, look at that face. You just want to smack him in the face, huh? Allegri has agreement with Serie A club for next season. Juve or Milan, the possibilities. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that Allegri, would you be happy to see Allegri back at the helm of AC Milan? Max Allegri seems destined for a future coaching in Italy once again next season, but there is some mystery as to where he may end up, a report claims. According to Il Corriere della Sera, up until a couple of months ago, Allegri was one step away from becoming the new manager of AS Roma. But almost suddenly, everything stopped, and not because of the Giallorossi club. His former coach and friend Giovanni Galeoni shed some light on the situation 2 days ago, remarking, "My feeling is that Allegri is returning to Juventus. His silence and his desire to return make me believe that there is something concrete." Now, I know that this is very possible because there's a lot of Juventus fans on YouTube that are really upset about this. So the paper hypothesis that the 53-year-old has a contract already signed with an Italian team. So they're saying that he's already signed because he does not want to go abroad. The team could be Milan, as per the source, but it would be a great surprise. So they're saying that Allegri already has a contract on his table, on his desk, and that apparently he has signed. Is it Milan or is it Juventus? Obviously, I would say 90% Juventus, 10% Milan. On Wednesday, however, another clue was added. Max chose Juve. Yes, another person close to him apparently can find it. Allegri himself has opened up to the possibility of coaching a team that isn't in the Champions League, as he said. Going to a team in the Europa League would not be a problem. It is a phrase that, like Juve, means he could also be a fit for me. So he's also saying that that he doesn't have a problem coaching a team that goes to the Europa League. So I wonder who he's referring to. But would you guys be cool with Allegri coming back? I think Allegri would be able to get this team into UCL. Scudetto would be a stretch. Skiller said, sorry. What's with Roma 3 players already out injured as not even half time yet? Really? Yeah, because man, Roma is not a real team, guys. Okay? No offense to Roma. But Roma, for 100 years, all they've been thinking about is winning the derby. Like, no team with real tradition, real ambitions, just focuses its whole, existence on winning the derby. So shame on them. Shame on Roma. Jan says, "Give me 10 minutes, I'll rejoin." Saif Najir, Allegri, the nostalgia. Allegri and Ibra is a match made for Milan. So some of you guys do like the possibility of Allegri coming to Milan. All right, guys, we are getting closer to the moment of having you guys jump in the stream and telling me whether or not you think Pioli should stay or should go. Skillard, make Gigi a player manager for 12 million a year. I wouldn't want a player manager. All right, guys. Last thing before getting into the Pioli debate, we are going to look Milanello. Here it is, a training report. I love the training report to read about what the players are doing. It's always very interesting. So we have a big game coming up against Benevento. Benevento is a tough team because these are those teams that when they play against the big teams, they're playing for their lives. So it's always tough to play against these smaller teams. For them, getting anything, even a tie against, the big like Inter, Juve, Milan, for them is like winning a World Cup. So it's always difficult playing against these smaller teams. Hopefully Milan can just, walk all over them as it should be. All right, here we go. The Rossoneri continue preparations for the upcoming Serie A fixture, which pits AC Milan against Benevento on Saturday, 1st of May. Saturday, guys. So tomorrow. No, not tomorrow. Today is Thursday. The Rossoneri trained at Milanello this morning under the gaze of Paolo Maldini and Frederic Massara. The group started the session in the gym where they activated their muscles before heading out onto the pitch to continue the warm-up with a series of technical exercises using small goals. Then they moved on to working on tactics. The session ended with the usual game on the reduced pitch. Okay, let's look at some pictures. Here we have the boys training. I believe this is 2 goals. So when you have when you're playing with 2 goals, you're usually working on switching from one side to the other. That is usually why you want to train with 2 goals. Donnarumma practicing his $12 million a year goal kicks. Tato Rusano with another picture of that looks it's exactly the same person. Look, this is Tato Rusano right here. It is exactly the same person. Quite interesting. Donnarumma with a $12 million save. The guy is doing a warm-up. You got Ibra. By the way, the whole team is back right now. Even Maldini is back in action. So I don't think we're missing one player. The whole squad is back at the disposal of Mr. Allegri. So we got the players. This is the warm-ups. Looks pretty cold in Italy. Got Romagnoli, Kalulu, Krunic, I believe that is Mate, Ibra, Gabbia, Pioli. Yes, sir. Yeah, look at it. It's raining. It's raining, so they're training under the rain. They look focused. What I like about what I'm seeing is that they're not smiling. Okay, I was so tired of watching them smile and be happy. Like, it's the end of the season, guys. Like, you can't. There's no time for smiling right now. Now you got to be focused, and that's it. Okay. Well, of course, Leao is smiling. Leao is always smiling. Man, I feel so bad for Leao. I think this player has so much potential to grow in a champion. I've said it before. Pioli is making mistakes with him, but whatever. Nice picture here. We got Dalot. Dalot seems to. Who knows if Dalot is going to stay with Milan? All to be seen. Calabria is back. We need Calabria back at his match fitness. We need Benacer back to his match fitness. We need the whole team. Yes, guys, these are the expressions I want to see. Serious. They know what's coming up. They lost a big game. Now they need the energy and the fire that loss. They need to now use that and use it, feed on it to create inertia for the next game. Pep Krunic for manager. We need super people to take one for the team again. Yes, sir, we do. Yep, yep, guys. Team looks good, and like once again, Leao has a very peculiar way of playing. Of the, it looks like he's always smiling. I like that. That's it, guys. That is it. All right, here we go, guys. Let's get into the discussions of Mr. Jan. How was your? Are you with me, Jan?
Yeah, just give me 1 second.
Yes, sir.
There we go.
All right. How are you doing, Mr. Jan?
Very good, thank you.
All right, Jan. So right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have people from the audience come up to the stream and discuss Pioli in, Pioli out. All right. So,
okay.
But before doing that, I just want to give my 2 cents, and obviously, I would like you to give us your 2 cents. So, one thing I want to look at real fast is this. That I've waited a few days to really digest this game against Lazio, and I know you are of the idea that Pioli hasn't had much to do with the current form, but I just want to point out something, a tactic that Simone Inzaghi adopted, in which I give Simone Inzaghi a lot of credit. I give Simone Inzaghi a lot of credit for adopting this tactic, and I'm going to show you. So, upon the more research and just seeing what's going on with the team, etc., and something that I had noticed during the game is that Lazio was, all the attacks from Lazio were coming down this side of the field, where you had Benacer and Calabria that were supposed to be covering that side of the field, and then you have Salah Negre. So I was thinking, why is Lazio adopting this tactic? Why is Lazio playing on this side? So then we figured it out. There's a bunch of reasons. 2 of the reasons is because that was Calabria's first game as a starter, so he's not fit. So obviously, that was one reason to exploit. The other reason was for Benacer also not being completely fit. But there's a third reason, which is why I think Simone Inzaghi outsmarted Pioli. The reason why they attacked this side of the field is because they knew that if they attacked the other side of the field, if they would have lost the ball, Theo would have been on the run for those counterattacks. So they were playing in prevention of Theo counterattacks. And this was a choice Simone Inzaghi made. So, it is a tactical choice. It is another example, as per me, another coach outsmarting Pioli, outsmarting him with countermeasures. Where are Pioli's countermeasures? How come Pioli didn't have any countermeasures to their countermeasures? A lot of people are saying that Pioli is being stagnant. He's not changing things. It's becoming too predictable. So let's open up this discussion. Jan, take it away.
Right. So I can see what you're saying. I just at times, yeah, okay, he might have been a bit outsmarted, but I'll just go back to the point that I made a couple of times, and I know Lara has agreed with me a couple of times on it. Pioli's only been able to work with what he's got. And what he's got is a bunch of very, very good young talents that aren't the finished product and that are still in a sort of transitioning process, let's call it, into trying to be a stable top 4 side, Scudetto challenging side, whatever you want to call it. And then you look at Lazio on the flip side, who have been in the top 4 for the last couple of years. They've stuck with the manager. They are very well drilled in how they play. And I just think, again, it's just another team that are slightly ahead of us in terms of their project. But at the same time, and it is football, but at the same time, the game on Sunday could have gone Monday, could have gone a totally different way. You look at the very first minute when Hakan had that shot at 0-0. If that goes in, we are fully on top. We took the game to them. Obviously, things happened. They scored. But then even at 1-0 to them, we had at least two clear opportunities to get back in the game, and it's a different score line. 2-0, we know that goal probably shouldn't have stood. And it's still 1-0, and there's plenty to go in the game. And I think at 2-0, it is sort of game over, especially at the Olympico. Then you kind of need a bit of a miracle to come back from it. But at times, I think you were outsmart. But then at other times, I think Milan played pretty well. I thought we were making some nice passive movements, some nice possession movements. And then we got done on the counter. And maybe that is a bit of naivety from Pioli's side. Not setting us up better, but at 1-0, 2-0 down, what are we supposed to do? Other than go out and try and get a goal, especially away from home. There's no good sitting back and trying to defend. You've got to kind of go out all the time and try and get something.
Yeah.
And like this guy's just commenting, I can't see his name properly, but Lazio, we beat last year. We beat him last year. We beat him this season. Like we have with many teams, and I just think it is coming now down to individual errors, whether it be defensive naivety, sloppy defending, silly passing mistakes, and then for me, the big one is the striking attacking department. We're just not good enough.
Yeah, it's been absolutely atrocious. The final third department has been absolutely atrocious for a bunch of weeks. All right, guys. Anyway, the lines are open. So if anybody wants to come up here and tell us what you think about Pioli, if you want to release some frustrations, the lines are open. Just let me know on the stream. I am going to put the link here, and maybe you can even go. And if there's anybody that is Pioli in, let me know. Anybody that is Pioli out, let me know. And maybe we can even have a little 1v1 matchup while I eat popcorn and watch you guys go one-on-one against each other. So
bring me the Pioli outers, and you can have the Pioli inners. How about that?
All right, perfect. All right, anybody that is Pioli out, let us know, and you will be going up against Jan. Anybody who's Pioli in, let us know, and you'll be going up against me. So that's the link. So anybody, just remember to write down your name. When you join, write down your name so I know who you are, and yes. All right, Jan. So what do you see? What do you think about this next upcoming game?
Benevento. Oh, I actually think it's going to be a fairly tricky one because I didn't realise how low down they were in the table. I thought they were. I'd say comfortably mid-low table, if that makes sense, like 13th, 12th place team. I thought they'd already pretty much escaped relegation this year. I thought they were comfortable, but obviously that's not the case. I'm slightly worried about it, to be honest. I'm not going to lie, they're a bit of a bogey team. And I don't think it's going to be straightforward. I think we might end up drawing this.
Oh, wow. Damn. Skillard, if you want, please join the live and give us your 2 cents. And
please.
And you're welcome.
Please do.
Isborn, Pioli out. So we have some takers. Guys, one at a time each, just join the live. The link is there.
Let's have a bit of fun.
So you think it's going to be a tie, but if it's a tie, it'll be disastrous for AC Milan,
Oh no, like that would not be a good result, but I think it's going to be a very tough game. And you know what? Hopefully we go out and we win them comfortably, but I think it'll be a tough game.
You think it'll be a tough game? I think it's going to be a tough game too, because I mentioned this earlier. Not just because Benevento has talent and they have a coach that seems to be doing well, but because these teams, when they play against the big teams, for them, it's like a World Cup final. It's like their career depends. It's almost like their career depends on these games. And remember, when was it? Spezia. When Spezia beat us, it's like they're celebrating as if who knows what happened.
Yeah, there's a couple of factors in it, I think. Especially more so for Benevento, you've got Pippo Inzaghi probably wanting to prove that he can still be a
Pioli apologist. Guys, if you want to come and discuss to discuss and share your opinions, come up. The lines are open.
Because Pioli's not in it. Pioli's not innocent. If you look at my Twitter, I've said before he's not innocent. I even questioned a couple of his substitutions on Monday. But you've got to, if you look at the bigger picture, we are maybe a top 4 side, probably top 5. If you'd have asked at the start of the season, I think most people would have said 5th place, 4th place finish. I think the good work that Pioli has done at the start of the season has kind of gone against him now, because everyone's thinking that we're a Scudetto challenging side, and I don't think as a squad we're better than Juventus, Inter and Atalanta. I don't think we're at that level yet. And then you're looking at teams that you've got 9 times in a row winners. You've got Inter, who have paid a lot of money to get to the level that they are in terms of what they're spending. That's why they can't even afford to play the players. I mean, in essence, that's kind of a version of cheating, because you're spending beyond your means and you're not able to pay for what you've got. And then you've got Atalanta, who have got a decent coach with players that are now 3 years into that project. So obviously they're ahead of us. And then you've got Napoli, who are a very strong side, and I think they've got a good manager in Gattuso. People don't agree, but I think he's a good manager.
I think it's amazing.
And then you've got Lazio, who were Scudetto candidates last year. If it wasn't for lockdown, I think they'd have probably gone on to win it. I think that lockdown did them quite bad. And then you've got Roma, who are now beating. The thing is, I think it's a tough league, and Pioli's good work has actually gone against him in a sense at the second half of the season. Now we expect a lot more from him than what we're showing. And I still think if we get rid of him, I think it'll just be pressing the reset button. And I know people are wanting Allegri. I love Allegri. If someone said to me Allegri will be your manager in the summer, brilliant. But the fact is, you're setting him up to fail if you don't back him, and he won't get backed for the caliber of plays he needs. So,
yep. All right, guys, we do have a taker. So, Mr. Hasni, is this Saif? I'm not sure. Make sure that your name is the same name as the chat, so I know exactly who you are. Here we go. Our first guest. Hey, what's up, my man? How you doing?
I'm doing good. How you guys doing?
Very good. So, just for clarification, who are you in the chat? Because the name doesn't match.
I'd rather not say, because I make a lot of funny comments, so it might come back to me.
All right. I think I know who this is. All right. So, this guy here actually makes me laugh a lot. He says a lot of funny things. I know exactly who he is. So, tell us.
Come on. Spill the beans. Who is it?
It's up to him. It's up to him to discuss.
Maybe at the end of this, I'll let you know, Jen.
Yeah. All right. So tell us. You're Pioli out, because I read your comments. You're definitely Pioli out. So tell us why. Go ahead.
Well, I'll put it to the most recent thing that I read on Sempre Milan website. I don't know whether they came out on any other news portal, but Maldini's been speaking to each player individually. Now tell me, why is it Maldini has to speak to each player when it is Pioli as the coach, manager, whatever you want to put it, father figure, to speak to these players to motivate them? I mean, doesn't it show something that you need someone else to step in and say, hey guys, we need to win the next 5 games or no, we're really screwed?
Didn't Berlusconi do that under the Ancelotti era and speak to every player and tell them how
they were winning something, weren't they?
Yeah, no, but that's what I mean. Didn't we go into retreat under other good managers at different periods of time? I'm sure Berlusconi will have been speaking to the squad when we had rough patches under Allegri and stuff. I get what you're saying, but that's also Maldini's job. Someone that's been there, won everything that there is to win, surely it's his job, someone that loves the team and all, just to go to these players and be like, come on now, buckle up. This is the final 5 games of the season. Let's do this. I'd be worried if Maldini wasn't saying that to the players, to be honest. Personally, I'd be worried if he wasn't. It's not necessarily his job as such, but he loves Milan, and I think it'd be a good thing for him to be doing that.
I would completely understand, but look at it this way, yeah. So you're right. We've had times where we've taken dips before, but we were never considered a non-Champions League team. Now the fact that we are in danger of slipping out of the Champions League and you got to do this is almost like what else is left in the bank, We're throwing everything, even off the pitch, including the kitchen sink, to get these players motivated. And if you ask me, it's a stretch at the last 5 games. If they're not winning for the past, or have a decent record for the past 3 or 4 games, what difference would it make against the next 5 games when we have the last 2, but we still have Atlanta and Juve to play? This is why I'm saying really, I just think it's at a point of no return here.
Really,
I would love to be wrong.
I honestly, I would appreciate it a lot more if, he had a better squad to work with. If in January, Maldini and Gazidis, Elliott, if they'd have backed him to the point you've given him a striker that he needs, you've given him a potentially a right winger that he needs, and a couple more reinforcements, and really showing some ambition that you want the top 4 and that you want the league, then I'd be like, and then we have the drop off. Then I'd be like, yeah, come on, Pioli, this is ridiculous now. But do you really think he got backed in January enough? And with the injury, everything that's gone against him, I mean, he hasn't even had a full squad once this season. Like, we've not one player out, so I think it's a bit harsh. And I just think if we get rid of him, it is Project Restart.
Okay, can I just say one thing?
Yeah,
this is why I've, I wrote the comment a little bit earlier, is that this team is capable of beating anyone in the league, and we've beaten everyone in the league. I think maybe Atlanta we haven't beaten in a while. So I understand the fact that maybe we don't have the reinforcements, we can't get a win every single time, but to scrape a draw, this is the fighting mentality that you might even be 2-0 down, and we've seen teams come back from 2-0 down to draw. Why can't this team do it?
I think I've just missed all that. My internet went a bit funny then.
Can you repeat that one more time, please?
Yeah. So
how do you want me to call you on the live?
Husni, the name.
Husni. All right, Husni. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, Jan. Just to repeat myself. This team has proven that they can beat anyone, including Juve, most of the top 6 teams, except for Atlanta. So the fact that we can't win every game, I guess it's makes it realistic. But why isn't it this team can come from a fight back to at least draw the game? We saw it quite recently when Hauke came back. He scored the equalizer after Theo screwed up that back pass to Gigio or to whoever it was. So it's about the fight back mentality that I'm just not seeing. We go 1-0 down, everyone is scared of going 2-0 down. And when we go 2-0 down, we look like we're going to throw the game and let in another 4 or 5 goals. And even in the Lazio goal, as bad as it was, we should have been 4 or 5-0 down in the first half. That's how bad it was.
I wouldn't say we should have been 4-0, 5-0 down in the first half. Because like I've said, that could have gone a totally different way had we taken our chances like we could have in many other games. I think if you would have added a striker to this squad in January, we'd have got, obviously we brought Mandzukic in, but a good striker, a good backup, I think we'd have got another 10 goals this season. And them 10 goals probably would have come in your Genoa game, your Sampdoria game, your Udinese game, the games where we have dropped points. And I think that has been one of our biggest downfalls, not investing enough in the manager, because I genuinely believe he deserved it. What kind of ambition are you showing that when you're top of the league, you win the Champions in January, and you can see where the little pieces are that are missing, and you don't go out and you don't fill them gaps? Obviously, I know it's not that simple, but just try to fill them gaps in a little bit more, just in certain places, and not back the manager. I think, I'm not saying Bellotti was available, but it looks like we're probably going to try a lot harder to go for him in the summer. So you think, and I appreciate they're in a relegation scrap, but you think, just pay that extra 10 million more than what they're going to ask for. just overpay slightly for him, because you know that that's going to be the point between potentially a Scudetto, a top four, and missing out on the top four. And that's how close, when we look back at the end of the season, we'll think, if we'd have just taken then chancing them points extra, the 6 points extra, the 9 points extra, and we'd be laughing. And you wouldn't be saying Pioli out, you'd be saying, let's put a statue out. You'd be saying, let's put a statue outside. We're finally back in the Champions League, Pioli in. And it's fine margins. It is fine margins. I get what people are saying about it, but then I think Gattuso did a good job at Milan. Okay, I think he did a really good job. But he got backed in that January market. They brought in Paqueta and they brought in Piontek. And he said, there's 2 reinforcements, big money reinforcements, go get top 4, and we missed out by 10 minutes. And then you can maybe fairly criticise him. Yeah, he had some injuries, but that's a fair criticism. He got backed because we were doing fairly well. He got backed and we failed. In January, he hasn't been backed good enough. We've brought in 2 players on loan and a player that hasn't played football for a year, and that's what we expected to be the level to go cement top 4 and make us good at our charge. And it's just not necessary.
Okay, Jack, can I just ask? You mentioned a striker reinforcement.
Go ahead.
Which striker do you have in mind that can join the team in January and immediately off the bat, maybe in like 1 or 2 games, start scoring goals? I think every player that joins, especially Milan, begins with maybe a 5 or 6 game slow start or a bit of a problem streak. And that is excluding the fact that they could get injured. I mean, look at this injury record of the squad.
No, yeah, I agree. Look, injuries are just out of people's control, aren't they, at the end of the day? Like, there's nothing you can do. But you look at when we got Piontek, look at the scoring run that he went on. And it's still, and we missed out by 10 minutes of football, but that's probably because the first part of the season let us down. So what I'm saying is, you bring in a striker, and I'll just say Belotti, or Giroud, for example. Oliver Giroud at Chelsea, he's on the bench, he's not getting football, his contract expires this summer. Go out, while you're in the negotiation room for tomorrow, go out, see if you can just test the waters a little bit. Just go find someone that can make the difference. El Shaarawy now at Roma. Okay, maybe he hasn't had the impact that they thought, but neither's Mandzukic, and you've got someone that could probably play a forward role there. Just someone that...
let me
names,
sorry,
it's not simple,
sorry to interrupt you. So you're saying it's the club's fault. So the club should be replaced. The agent, the people that work at the club, the directors, and the people.
No, I'm not saying it's their fault necessarily. I'm not saying they should be replaced, but I do think they could have done more in backing him. I think they could have done a lot. I think they could have done a lot more.
Gotcha.
Do you honestly think Scudetto challenge inside, because that's where we were in January, that Mandzukic and Swahilo Mete are reinforcements to cement a title challenge?
Not those 2 players. No.
So that's my point. But then, say for example, and this is just an example, we'd have brought in, I think from midfield off the top of my head, Belotti in.
Yes.
To cement the title. That's a player that you bring in.
That obviously is not going to happen. Anyway, I want to move on. So Hasni, so you are definitely Pioli out. There's no in between. You want him gone. You don't like the guy. Let me ask you something, Hasni. If he makes the top 4, would you still be good for him to stay?
I've said it before. Even if he makes top 4, I want him gone. The reason being is that he's gone as far as he can take us. He's gone as far as he can take us. Thanks for the memories. But after the top 4, then what? Are we still going to fight for this 4th or 5th place for the next season? I don't want to be in that situation. Get the top 4. Thank you so much, Mr. Pioli. I'm sure we can do better.
I appreciate that. Do you respect Paolo Maldini? Because he said...
I do.
All right, guys. Last interaction. Sorry, last interaction, but I want to move on to the next person.
Sorry. Paolo Maldini said it's going to take 3 or 4 years of us constantly being in the Champions League to be able to invest in top quality players. The top quality players are going to be needed to progress in the Champions League to mount this title charge. So next year, even if we do get top 4, I don't think we're going to make that step up, because we're still going to be fighting for top 4 next year, with or without Pioli. And if we bring in someone like Allegri, I don't think he's going to get the backing the players he needs. Same with Serie to carry on that top four, if that makes sense. I just don't think they're going to be able to straight away.
Jen, I agree with you, but look at what happened to Gattuso. Gattuso is a legend. Everyone knows he's a legend. Look what happened to him. So
Yeah,
I don't think anyone's immune. That
Oh no, but look what happened to Gattuso. We missed out by 10 minutes of Champions League football. We sacked him. We hired Gianpaolo, and then we were sat in 12th place in Serie A, and Pioli had to save us.
All right, guys. I want to move on to the next person waiting. But Hasni, you can stay if you want. And keep. But I do appreciate guys. Hasni is I think the funniest guy alive. To be honest with you, I know exactly who he is, and his comments are hilarious. They're the best. So I love this guy. So thank you, Hasni, for your participation. So let's go to the next person that has and I kind of more on Hasni's side on this argument. I think Gianpaolo has his limitations. But anyway, let's keep on going. All right. Saif. Saif is up next. Are you with us, Saif?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. All right. Saif is also... Oh, wait. Hold on, Saif. Just one more thing. Let me just go back to Hasni one more time. Okay, then I'll come back to you. Hasni, how did you become an AC Milan fan? I always want to ask this to all our guests.
I used to live in Milan actually for 7 years.
Okay, good.
Back when I was young. But those were back in the late 80s, early 90s, so it was a good time. Now I have to live through the bad time.
I got you. All right, awesome. And I like your shirt there, the Donnarumma. All right, Saif, you're up. So Saif, Jan, he has been, he's kind of in between. So let's see what you've got to say. Saif, get it off your chest.
So it's kind of a hard question because I have seen what Pioli has been able to do in the first half of the season. But in the same time, you cannot excuse him. Like Gian, however injuries you have, however the situation of the team is, you cannot go winter champions and then slip to the second, and then within a few games, now you're possibly out of the Champions League, and that would be actually a catastrophe for us, and it's not acceptable. I also go back to the Europa League, where many Milan fans lie and say, "Oh, it's not important." Actually, it was. Look at teams like United. They're still battling for it. We could have easily beaten United, in my humble opinion. But I don't know what went through his mind. He decided to leave Hauge out of the team. This is a decision which I will never understand my whole life. Just to start off.
Good point about Hauge. Again, there is an example of the coach making decisions, right? Go ahead, John.
Look, the Hauge situation, I genuinely don't believe just on the coach. I think the club will have had some impact in that. But you have got to remember, at that point, he's just come back off a full year of playing football. And look, he was good for us in the Europa League. But I think fatigue, the adapting to a new league, to a new country, not really having a rest break, I think that's what's happened. And the fact that he's not playing in Serie A as much, do you know what? Pioli probably should be playing him more. But I still believe there's got to be more to it for him to be picking Krunic and Castillo. We're not in training every day. We don't know what's going on in training. And we don't. And I'm not saying it's right. I think Hauge probably should get some more minutes. It's a fact. But we don't know the situation there. But
so what?
staying in the Europa League, staying on the Europa League, I agree. I think I want one of the few people that think we should battle for every single competition that we're in. We're AC Milan.
I'm with you there.
Coppa Italia. I don't care. We should be fighting for everything. But then you look at the available squad list for Man United. Would Hauge genuinely really made that much of a difference? He might have done, but I don't think so. I think having to play layout up front didn't really help us because we've seen that he's not a striker. Although Mate had a good game, you're still missing Benazir, you're missing Tonali. There's a few facts, and again, Man United are way ahead of us in terms of their project. They were a Champions League team, dropped down, but I still think we should have battled for it. I actually said on the Sempre Milan podcast, I said our downfall came was when people wrote us off for the Coppa Italia and said the Coppa Italia is not important. Playing against Inter Milan doesn't matter what competition it is. You have to win. And that was their turning point. They had belief that they could beat us.
I
skyrocketed, and that's when we just snapped and we lost it. And
I'm sorry. Okay, Manchester United have a very strong team, but they also have many weaknesses. I think the reason we didn't qualify against United, we didn't have enough wingers. Like Krunic missed so many chances. He could have made so much difference. If Hauge was in this place, I'm sure we would have had, like, I'm not kidding, like 2 extra goals, like home and away. Like, and we can't bring up the excuse of fatigue every time we talk about Hauge. Almost every game, because almost every game he stays on the bench, and fucking Castillejo, the Bella dancer, comes and just makes a few passes and then posts on Instagram. We will never give up. We were a very strong unit. Go fuck yourself. Like, get out of Milan. I cannot see this guy anymore. What does Hauge have to do to get more playtime, man? Seriously.
I totally agree with you. Totally agree. But what I'm saying is, we can't. It's hard to sit here and say. Sorry, it's easy to sit here and say how we should be playing, but for all we know, he could be putting no effort in training. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's easy to stand the manager's choices, but we don't know the thinking behind it and stuff like that. I think Hauge should get more minutes, but it's not as simple as just throwing it. Let me
say this. Now, why I think he didn't choose Hauge over the other players is because the other players are just more experienced. So he went with experience rather than youth. But again, is he not? Sorry, let me finish. Is he not? Yeah, okay. Is he not giving these players the time to shine? Like, Hauge in the Europa League was excellent. He was our best player. It is a strange decision. I think Said does bring a good point. Like, taking out Hauge, is a strange decision, and it backfired because of all the injuries. And when we had all those injuries in the offensive lineup, that's when we needed him the most. So his decisions backfired on him. And that is another example of him making bad decisions, in my opinion.
Let's say
go and John.
Yeah, sorry, John. Like also Roy said that he picked guys like Krunic and Castillejo for experience. Bro, these are shit players. Like, what kind of experience are we talking about here? Tell me one game, just one game they came into, like, as a substitute the whole season, and they changed the game. Tell me just one game. Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. Sorry. We talk about Rebic and Leao as wingers. Oh my God, we have Rebic, we have Leao. First of all, Rebic can even control a ball on the wing. He's like Bambi on ice when he's on the wing. And Leao is so lazy. Like I said in the chat before, he's more interested in becoming a professional rapper than a player. He comes on, like against Lazio, I understand. We already lost the game. He wouldn't have much difference. But you saw when he went on, he didn't actually run. Like Hauge.
I think that's harsh.
Yeah. No. I'm sorry. Every time he enters the pitch, he walks around. Not just me. Most Milan fans in the world say it, because I also follow Italian AC Milan channels on YouTube. They all say the same thing about him, so we can't all be wrong, right, Gian? He's so lazy. Hauge is more determined. Hauge is more skilled on the ball, and he makes much more difference when he plays on the wing. That's a fact.
But Leao has been playing out of position. I think that's a big part of it.
Fair enough, right? So what I'll say, going back to the...
Yeah, go ahead, John.
I do. Just going back to the Hauge thing on the Europa League squad. Okay, there was 2 players that could miss out. Hauge and Mateo. You take Messi out, you put Hauger in. You take Hauger out and you put... you take Messi out and you put Hauger in. Who's playing centre midfield against Man United? Kessie, and we had no midfielders at this point. So, in a way, it kind of works in our favour. We still had wingers available. We still had Salamakers, Castillo, Krunic, Leao. They were still available. So, how, yes, from an attacking point of view, might have done okay. But we wouldn't have had a midfield in the first place. And then, to go on to... I agree that Howe should get more game time. 100% he should. But it's clearly not
The connection is
showing something to the manager that he's making him sure.
Sorry, Jan, not
me the most is
Jan, your connection is in it.
At Leao, right? He's 21 years old. In the 2 seasons he's been here, he's averaging a goal or assist every 100. Is that better?
Jan, your connection is in and out. We can't really hear what you're saying.
Yeah, 1 second. 1 second. Is that any better?
Go ahead.
No. Is that any better?
Yeah, keep on going. Let's see. And then I want to bring in
right. As I was saying,
Eastbourne, I believe, is here.
Yeah, man. So
Go
with
ahead.
Leao, since he's joined the club, he's averaging a goal contribution every 180 minutes. So that's effectively a goal contribution every 2 games for Milan. At 21-year-old, playing in a new league, playing across 4 different positions, I think is pretty decent for a player that we're all calling crap. And then
I'm sorry. I didn't ever say he's crap. No, I did not ever say he's crap.
I'm not just saying you. I'm talking. No, I'm talking about Milanisti in general, like the ones that are showing
okay. Yeah.
Saying he's crap, saying he's not good enough, blah blah blah. Of course he is. But you look at Calabria when he came through. People wanted rid of him, and now look at him. He's our best player. Pessi, when he signed at 20, people wanted rid of him. He's now our best player. Look at Leao's actually been, inconsistent, but he's still chipping in with a goal, with an assist. To do that every 180 minutes while still supposedly playing bad, I'm happy with. Especially
okay, I want to say something. I want to say something before Saif puts his in 2 cents about Leao. I think that all the things you said, Jan, are correct about Calabria. I mean, I thought Calabria was going to become a great player. I thought Kessie was going to. I think Leao is going to become a great player. But right now, going back to Pioli is using him in what I believe is the wrong position, and it is causing this chaos with him and the fans and himself. You need aside from that one goal he scored, which was right away against Sassuolo. Leao is the kind of player that needs to build into a game. He needs to make something good happen, and then that momentum, he can carry on with the momentum. But by putting him in that position, he can't even do that because he doesn't have the technical and tactical ability to do that. So again, let's keep it on Pioli. Pioli is making the mistakes with Leao, in my opinion. Saif, go ahead.
But sorry, John.
But who's he? Who'd you play there instead? Is what I want to know.
Rebic.
Exactly.
But Rebic hasn't got the same skill set that we expect of Ibra. We keep comparing Leao to.
No, he doesn't. But he's better in that position than Leao would be.
I don't think he's over better in that position because when Ibra was injured the first time and Rebic was playing in that position, we were all saying that Rebic were rubbish and he should play on the left wing. If I go back to say November time, I think it was, go back to Twitter back then, everyone was saying, can't play Rebic up front, he's too up front, he needs to go back onto the wing, that's where he's more effective. So then Leao gets a chance, and then we're saying, Leao's poor, he needs to go back onto the wing, he needs to be more effective. And that's where I go back to my point. In January, if Milan had bought a striker, we wouldn't be in this mess now.
Those are good points. Okay,
Yeah.
Safe, go ahead. Go ahead. Safe.
So
Yeah, go ahead.
I've talked much about Hauge, and that kind of took over the conversation. And Leo, I want to talk about Pioli.
Yes.
I said I'm kind of middle because
Okay.
I saw what he was able to do in the first half of the season with so many injured players, and I really respected him for that. I really thought at the time he was probably the most like underrated manager in Europe at the time for what he was doing. But he got exposed. The guy doesn't have a plan B. Like every time we went down this season, every time we went down 1-0, 2-0, anything, we have not managed to win a single game. Do you know that? Apart from the Celtic game. We always do this in games. We wait till we won. We always wait till we were 1 down, 2 down. Oh shit, we have to come back. We have to score some goals. And then we play the last 10 minutes of the game, and everyone is like, yeah, good fighting spirit. Well, what about the other 80 minutes? He has not shown me enough game management and composure in games to say that he's gonna be our manager, even if we make the UCL, the Champions League.
Well, Safe.
We're gonna
Sorry,
Sorry?
Safe.
Yeah.
To me, this sounds like you're not in between. You're pretty much decided. You don't want to.
No. No, the thing holding me back is because he did very well in the first half of the season. So I'm like, yeah, like there has to be something there. But I mean, at the moment, he's not showing me anything, any signs of progression, or like infecting team spirit in the team, to say that yeah, he deserves to stay. Because at the moment, I'm kind of leaning towards, like it's enough. Like how many losses and draws do we have to take to understand that this guy doesn't really have a plan B? And honestly, the first 19 games of the season, we were very good. I understand that. But other competitors were very bad at the time. And that made us look very invincible and we were unbeaten. We were unbeaten for a reason. Yes, we were great. But Napoli, Lazio, Roma, even Juve, they were all shit at the beginning of the season. And like he doesn't even change the formation. He does it never 3 at the back, never 4-4-2, never like nothing. I don't see anything that changes. Sorry.
So Safe. Go ahead, Jan. If you have, I want to Jan, guys. Last thing, and then I want to bring in.
No, it's all right.
He's bored. Okay. So
the only thing that I want to say.
Oh, go ahead, Jan. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, my internet's like it. The only thing that I want to say is I appreciate maybe there should be some like tactical tweaks, if you want to call it. But how hard must it be for week in, week out? This is I'd say just before the rough patch, to have 6-7 players out week in, week out, key players. How hard must that be to get a squad to play a whole different style of play? If you look at the Sassuolo game, the first 45 minutes, I think we were playing like 4-2-2-2, and there was some tactical tweaks in there. Even at Lazio, with the way that Alexis kind of drifted in from the right, in between the lines, played that like role really well. I think there is some tactical tweaks, and I think he's trying, but you have got to appreciate with the injuries that we've had, and every week there's a new injury to add and stuff like this. It must be hard to be able to do something new. I think we get to the end of the season and a pre-season with all the lads fully fit. Maybe then's the time to try something different. It's so hard to switch up your tactics halfway through the season, especially when you haven't got a full squad to deal with. Like you look at Inter, they don't change the tactics. They play a 3-5-2, and they've been looking at all their players have been fit all season, pretty much, and they've had a good injury kind of free season, and they've done fairly well. The best team, they don't need to change up the tactics.
All right, Saif, go ahead.
Tactical tweaks for sure, but they don't need to change formations and stuff like that.
Just to finish off, like I'm not one of the Milan fans that were on the hype that said, yeah, we're gonna win the Scudetto. I was happy. I was trolling every Inter fan on the planet, but I knew eventually we were not gonna keep up. But bro, slipping out of the top 4, like we're not the best team in Italy. But come on, not like this, man. This is seriously embarrassing. Tell me a team that goes 22 rounds of Serie A on top of the table. Forget injuries, forget any of that type of shit. 22 rounds on top of Serie A, and now we're fifth. Bro, what the hell? You know, I'm not even talking like him changing formations like at the beginning, even in the middle of the game. Look at games like Udinese. We don't score. First half was shit. We still play the same football. Sampdoria, we play shit. We wait till we concede a goal, and then we start fighting back. So okay, see, hit the post last minute. Oh shit, we're gutted. No, I'm not, because this is what we deserve at the moment. He's not even changing the tactics in the middle of games. He sticks with the same players. He burns them out, and we, the fans, are the ones who pay for this. Like it will look very bad for us if we don't make the Champions League this season. It will be an embarrassment, and you guys know it.
Yes, Saif, I definitely, I mean, all respect, everybody here is bringing up excellent points. So nobody's right, nobody's wrong. I am a little bit more on the side of Pioli out in this current moment. But Saif, thank you very much for your thoughts and expressing yourself. Let me ask you, how did you become an AC Milan fan?
Well, I was born 2001. I kind of saw that Milan won the Champions League. I was with my older brothers, and they also love football. But I started actually watching Milan in 2010, 2011 during the Scudetto reign, and I've been a fan ever since. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. All right. Well, Saif. So yeah, you're somewhere in between. You want to see how this season ends, and then you're going to make up your mind. Let me ask you last thing, Saif. Let me ask you his last thing, Saif, and then I want to go to Eastbourne because he's been waiting for a while. If Pioli makes the top four, what do you think?
Honestly, the logical thing to do. I know people may disagree. Like, it's the truth, guys. If we make the Champions League with Pioli, we're not gonna do well in the Champions League because you need bright managers. You need managers who change up their tactics well, that cope with the game. That's why guys like Conte always fail in the Champions League, because he doesn't have a plan B. So in my opinion, I love Pioli. I love what he basically, along with Zlatan, is the reason why we're here at the moment. But we should move on when we go to the Champions League, if hopefully, and bring a new manager. But at the same time, I know that's like not gonna happen. So I don't know. Let's see.
Yes, and speaking about Plan Bs, Ancelotti had a bunch of Plan Bs. He had the Christmas tree formation. He had the 4-4-1. Sorry, no, the 4-4-1-1. So in our past, our most winning coaches did have Plan Bs. Anyway, thank you, Saif, so much. You can stick around if you want, or you can leave the chat. It's up to you. But I want to, and then, guys, remember, every time I'm going to do a Milan news, you guys can come here towards the end of the chat. That's a good point. I like that. You guys can come here and tell me your thoughts. I want to go to Eastbourne now. Eastbourne, if you're still here, I see I put you on the screen. You're unmuted. Here we go. Hey, thank you so much, my man. Really appreciate it. Thank you for following the channel. And guys, please subscribe. All right,
anytime, bro.
Thank you, Say. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Eastbourne, who his name is quite telling. I'm going to show you guys right now. So, John, you can see exactly what we're talking about. Look at that. Hashtag Pioli out. All right, Eastbourne, how you doing, my friend? How's everything going?
I'm good, Troy. How are you guys?
Excellent, Eastbourne. Excellent. Also, good, you, Eastbourne, I enjoy your comments a lot that you leave on the chat. They're very funny, and thank you for guys. By the way, just quick bracket: Milan Roma is losing 5-2. Okay, 5-2. Eastbourne, go ahead. Get it off your chest.
As you know, I'm not a big fan of Pioli since the day they hired him. It was just like a panic replacement for Gianpaolo. So we have seen what Pioli is his statistics, his record with the previous Serie teams. The most he's been with, the maximum is 3 years, right? So how can some Milan fans think that we are building a project with Pioli. This man hasn't won anything, hasn't won a single trophy.
That is a good point. That is actually a very good point.
Yeah.
Jan,
If we're building a project,
But
that means we should.
sorry, Ismail, keep on going. Ben Jan, I want you to answer that. That's a very good point.
sorry.
If we're building a project, that means we should bring a reliable manager, a coach, so that he can develop the players, even the youth. But we don't see that in Pioli. And tactically, he's not good.
Okay, all right. All right. Eastbourne says that, Pioli, which is true. I mean, he hasn't had long reigns in teams. He hasn't won much. So, why would he do better with Milan? Jan, what do you think?
Yeah, so a couple of things, I suppose. First of all, okay, he hasn't had a glamorous career, but that doesn't mean he can't have that career with Milan. Now, I'm not saying I want him to, but just because he hasn't done it somewhere else doesn't mean he can't do it with us. Second thing, I'm not saying Pioli's the person to take us to a Champions League final. I know there's going to be a limit to how far he can take us, but you look at when Liverpool had Brendan Rodgers and they were fighting for their Premier League title, and he had a distinct style of football, and a couple of factors probably let him down, stopped him winning the league. Then they upgraded the manager, but with a profile that they could back, like Klopp, but still played a similar system to Brendan Rodgers. There's not many managers out there that would be willing to take over Milan in the summer that play a similar style that we're set up for, that the project is doing, to then take us to that next level without necessary backing. And like Maldini has said, he can't give us the players that we need or the big signings that we all crave for the next 3 years of continuity in the Champions League. That's what it's going to take. So I don't think Pioli's going to. I know Pioli's not going to win a Champions League with us, but it's unfair to base him on past reigns as a manager for his time at Milan. Milan had never really hired top coaches in the past. Sacchi wasn't a top coach at the time when Milan hired him. Allegri, he just won the manager of the year with Cagliari. It was at Cagliari, didn't win all, and then he had the players to win a league. Ancelotti did okay. He did well at Juve and Parma, but again, he had the backing, he had the players to win the Champions Leagues, to win the leagues. Capello had the players to win the leagues and stuff like that. Pioli has got a bunch of young kids, and we all want gold, and we can't get that yet. We need better players, and we need these players to grow. And no top manager at the minute, no Guardiola, no Klopp, no Allegri would come into this side with these players and win something, and that's just a fact.
You know what? You bring up some definitely good points too, Jan. Looking at the AC Milan coaches of the past. Especially Sacchi. To be honest, Sacchi came from the Serie B. If anybody knows this, Sacchi was the coach of Parma, and when Milan played against Parma, Sacchi was Berlusconi was very impressed with Parma's game and Sacchi. So that's how that relationship started. And Sacchi never played football in his career. He never played soccer. So very interesting points you bring up there. Both interesting points, I think. Now, I just want to say, Eastbourne, I'm kind of like you. When Pioli came in, I was like, he's a little bit better than Gianpaolo. But, oh, my God, really, Pioli? But then he had that incredible spell, and I kind of reassessed my evaluation about him. But now his limitations for me are definitely coming out. So, Eastbourne, let me ask you something. If Milan make the top four, do you still think Pioli should be out?
No, I don't think so. He should be there. I think we should go for new manager.
So you are Pioli out 100%.
I'm totally Pioli out.
Nice. I like that. And let me ask you something.
So can I ask a question?
Go, Jan. Go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
It's this internet, honestly. Who would you bring in as a manager to replace him that carries on the project?
Good question.
Right now, see, we have Allegri, Sarri, even Spalletti.
Did you hear that?
Allegri, Sarri, and Spalletti.
Yeah, and hopefully, if Mancini resigns after the Euros with the national team, we can try and get him.
Now that's what I think. I think if
Right, so
See,
like I said,
this see what
Sorry,
Spalletti did to Inter. Like he took them to almost every season to the Champions League, right? He built, even Spalletti was part of the project which Inter are right now.
yeah, Spalletti is I'm not a big fan of Spalletti, but he is a choice. Sarri is an excellent choice. I would love to have Sarri. Allegri, I don't like the way he plays football. Mancini is an excellent choice. Jan, what do you think
I
about these
think
names?
don't get me wrong, they are top coaches, but the top coaches, they are very, very good managers. I'm not disputing that, and all of them would be an upgrade on Pioli. But my point that I'm trying to make is, I don't see the backing being there.
Right, you're talking about the players. We need the players
for them to be able to express their football. Allegri would need 5, 6, 7 new players to be able to put his style of play on. Sarri would need 3 or 4 big reinforcements to put his stamp on, and the thing that Sarri would need is more time than what Allegri would. Sarri would need pre-season and a couple of months to get that style of play embedded. And by that point, top four's probably already starting to look gone. And that'd be another season of rebuilding.
Yes, Allegri would buy all of these
And
defensive
I think,
midfield
for me, I have got a personal choice that if Pioli was to go, and I know it's unlikely that we'd get him, Brendan Rodgers. I think his style of football is fantastic to watch at Leicester. I think he did a great job at Liverpool when he brought through the likes of, Raheem Sterling. And then I think he'd be a fantastic manager at Milan to take us to the next level. And then once we've been in the Champions League for 2 or 3 years, then you can get Allegri in, then you can get your Sarri in, then you can get your Guardiola in.
Hamster, you find that funny, right? Brendan Rodgers?
Yeah, obviously. I mean, any manager from the Premier League directly to come to Serie A is a bit of a stretch. But guys, let me throw this, and I've said it before in the comments in a few of your videos before. How about Ranieri? He's won a league with a bunch of nobodies. With a bunch of nobodies. Come on. Who was Riyad Mahrez before he joined Manchester City and before he won the league? This is what a coach like Ranieri, who everyone pit against, he managed to pull off the amazing story. What do you guys think? I just don't know.
I am definitely against Ranieri. I think he's a shit coach. I'm sorry, he's new. I'm sorry. I'm not a fan. And I just don't think. I think he had a lucky season, and he had the right. Like Jan is saying, Jan is right. That your players make a big difference. He had Conte that season. Then when Conte left, but Ranieri, I can't. Anyway, Eastbourne. Eastbourne, how did you become a Milan fan?
Actually, I started supporting Milan since 2003. Okay. It's like running within the family.
Oh, really? The whole family is Milanisti?
Yeah, my brothers, my 2 older brothers, they are big Milan fan. So since then I was watching the Champions League final, Manu against Manu.
No, against Juve.
Oh yeah, Juve. Sorry, yeah.
In Manchester United, at the Old Trafford.
Manchester United, yes.
Nice. So, Eastbourne, you are decided. Huh? Nothing Jan has said has convinced you. You want Pioli out no matter what.
Yeah, I would like to ask Jan. So, what if Pioli flops next season? Then he'll definitely get a sack. So, they need to get a replacement in the middle of the season. So that's another rebuilding process. So what makes him sure that Pioli will be there he'll be there the full season next season?
Fair enough, but what makes you sure that Allegri, Sarri, Spalletti, they'll all get a good year next year. Look, in a way, it's kind of like a lottery football, isn't it? You could bring Allegri in, and every single player get injured, or something like, oh, it just doesn't work out, or every team improves. I don't know how to put it. Really, it's just, I suppose there's a bit of luck in it, but to say that he won't do well is just as bizarre as saying X player or X manager will do well. There's no proof, but you've got to have some continuity somewhere. You look back, and most Milanisti that are on Twitter that are all put Pioli out would have probably wanted Ancelotti sacked in 2005 when we lost to Liverpool in Istanbul. And then look what happened 2 years later, we go in the Champions League again. Sometimes you've just got to keep a bit of continuity in your club to really progress and go further.
Jan, but don't you think that we need to find a coach? I mean, if we were to get rid of Pioli, a coach that at least fits the profile of having coached a young team and having been able to take a young team to a certain target. I mean, at least that would eliminate some of the ambiguity of bringing anyone in.
Yeah, no, fair enough. But that's what I'm saying. Find me a coach that is available that can take that young team to the level that we're also craving right now, because there isn't many out there. But there's a handful of coaches, and not many of them are available. That's my point. Allegri, his Juventus team were built on some star quality players. Conte laid the foundations for that team and created some fantastic players. Sarri had some fantastic players at Napoli. He had some fantastic players at Chelsea. They didn't take a young squad and build it up to greatness. So there's not many managers out there that what we're saying that they can do. In 3 years' time, this squad would probably be perfect for Allegri when Kessie is in his prime, Benacer's in his prime, Leao's hitting prime years, Donnarumma's prime years, Tomori his prime years, Calabria, Teo. That'd be perfect for Allegri in 3 years' time. But who's a manager? Krunic. Who's the stopgap from now to then that can develop their players? Because there's not many managers out there. And I just think throwing Allegri into this team would be setting him up to fail.
I don't want Allegri. Let me ask a question real fast. Just going back to Hansel, what you asked earlier. Jan, what did you think about Ranieri? And Eastbourne, you too. Let me know. What do you think about Ranieri, Eastbourne? So go first, Jan, and then Eastbourne. Please answer.
Well, it's easy to say that players like Mahrez was a nobody, Kante was a nobody, because at the time they weren't. But they've proved that they're world-class players, and they really drove Leicester to win that title. Because as soon as they won it and they got sold, they just went straight down like that. So when they bought them, there was nobody. But in that season, they proved to be some world-class talent, and that's why they're regarded as the best players in the world now. And if Ranieri was really that top manager that we're talking about, just because he won that Premier League title, once Kante and Mahrez had gone, he'd have done it again next year with the reinforcements, or he'd have been able to convince Kante and Mahrez to stay. I think that season, there was a lot of luck that season. There were a lot of teams off the pace, which allowed Leicester to win the title.
All right, Eastbourne. Last thing. So you are.
Oh, we lost Roy.
Oh, he's lost now.
Roy does this sometimes. It's happened to Roy before where he goes in and out.
Hey guys, sorry about that. My connection went up, but we're still here. We're still here. Are you guys with me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, Roy, yeah. Yes.
All right, perfect. Okay, so Eastbourne, if you were to give me one name that you're 100% sure of, who would it be?
For next season, I will give. If we're not getting Allegri, I'll go for Sarri.
Sarri. So Eastbourne thinks that Sarri should be the next coach.
If I could just interject
My
once,
first choice would be Allegri, but
Your first choice would
most
be
likely,
Allegri.
yeah. But most likely, it looks like he'll go to US, so
do,
I'll go
do
for
you think
Sarri.
that Allegri or Sarri are going to win a Scudetto with Leao as their primary striker?
Good question. Okay, last question, and then I want to bring in the next guest because we have someone else that wants to come in and give his 2 cents. So, Eastbourne, last question. Go ahead. Do you think that with Leao and company, would Sarri or Allegri be able, I wouldn't say win the Scudetto, but achieve the objective, which is top 4?
No, I don't think so. But once Allegri or Sarri takes over, we know that a striker will be coming. They'll definitely buy a replacement because the main priority now is right wing and forward. Like Zlatan
Gotcha.
can't play the whole season. So,
Gotcha. So you're saying that with Allegri, like the transfer market would be more, would be better. Like the
it'll be more
decisions
better.
would be better. Gotcha,
Yes.
gotcha. All right, Eastbourne, thank you so much for your contribution. No problem. You're
Thanks,
welcome to
guys.
stick around. You're welcome to stick around if you want, but I want to bring in Joga Benito, who has been waiting for a while, and I want to see what Joga Benito has got to say about Pioli in or Pioli out. All right,
Is
Joga
it Pioli
Benito.
out?
Let's see. I don't know, actually.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Hey, what's up, Joga Benito? How are you doing?
I'm fine. It's almost 12 a.m. In my country.
Nice. Where are you from? Where's your country?
I'm from Romania.
Nice, nice, awesome.
I think Saif is also from Romania, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Saif is not with us anymore. He's not on the line.
No, I mean, I remember seeing some of his comments that say he's from Romania.
Ah, okay. Gotcha,
Okay.
gotcha.
So,
All right. Let me know, Joga Benito. So now the topic is Pioli in or Pioli out. So this is what we're trying to figure out. Everybody right now has been Pioli out. So where do you stand on this? And tell us why.
in my opinion, the problem isn't the coach. For me,
Yes!
for me, it's the personnel he has at his disposal. Because I don't think you can be consistent top 4 with Leao and Ibra for half a season. You can bring Allegri, Guardiola, anyone you want, but they can't work with this kind of players, in my opinion.
So let me ask you. So okay, I am I'm not really Pioli out, but I am more leading towards that direction. So I guess this is more against me rather than Jan. So let me ask you a question. Do you think that like a coach, like with a higher pedigree, let's say, like a Sarri, like an Allegri, so do you think that these coaches with this same personnel would not be able to finish in the top 4? So you're convinced about that?
I don't think they will.
So yeah, go ahead. Finish. Go ahead.
I think Pioli has done a miracle this season. I don't think this team is top 4 ready.
You don't think they're top 4
I
ready?
don't think so.
And let me ask you this. So because the objective from the beginning, as based on what the club decided to conduct the transfer market season, was top 4. The objective was top 4.
Yes.
So is it the coach or is it the sporting directors? Because we need to blame someone, okay? This is what we love to do. We love to blame someone. So who are we going to blame?
I mean, who brought Mandzukic in the first place?
Got you. So we're blaming Maldini, Massara, and Gazidis, these people. Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, if you take a look at Napoli's bench, they have Mertens, they have Lozano. They sometimes have Politano that have 1 or 2 classes above what Salamakers, Castillejo, it's trash. I mean, it's a clear difference.
Is it clear? So what would you do about that? Because, you know, these are the same people that are going to be making the same decisions next year. Do you hope that they're going to learn from these mistakes they made? Or do you think they're going to keep on making these mistakes, buying the wrong players?
I mean, I don't know with which kind of players we are linked with. So I don't know what decisions they will make, but I think that a winger, a right winger, and a playmaker are very important. A striker is also important to substitute Ibrahimovic or even replace him. I don't think Çalhanoğlu is top 4 ready player.
Wow. So let me ask you one more thing here, Gianni Benito. You think if Pioli stays, you would be happy for Pioli to stay in for another season, and you think that if Pioli was given a better roster, he wouldn't make the same mistakes he's made. But I mean, do you give any mistakes to Pioli's conduct of his last games? Do you give him any blame at all, or you think it's not him at all?
It's also him because he's the one that substituted Salamakers and kept Çalhanoğlu on the pitch.
Yeah.
Last game.
Okay, so this is where it brings me. Like, would have a more, let's say, astute coach, would a more astute coach not have done that?
I don't know what other coaches would do in this situation because Pioli doesn't have many alternatives on the bench.
Yes, and this is something that Jan was bringing up. So, you know, earlier I brought up like the difference between Simone Inzaghi and Pioli. Like Simone Inzaghi's tactics clearly were superior to Pioli's because Simone Inzaghi, you know, decided to play the whole game on the right where Calabria was due to the lack of match fitness. And also because Simone Inzaghi's idea there was if we lose the ball on the left, then Theo is going to be free to perform his counterattacks. So there is obviously something that the coaches do. They make tactical decisions. But you're of the idea that Pioli should stay and that's it. Pioli in, huh?
I'm Pioli in, but with better players.
Pioli in, but with better players.
If you analyze the game, you could clearly see that Lazio played the whole game on counterattacks because they aren't a build-up team. They are a counter-attacking team.
Correct. Well, if you know this, how come Pioli didn't know this?
I don't know. It's his problem. He has the millions to solve it.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, let me ask you, Gianni Benito, just to go out of the topic. How did you become an AC Milan fan?
Well, my brother. Ever since my childhood, my brother supported Milan, and I was a kid. What does a kid do? What others do in his and my father is a football guy. He watches a lot of football. My brother was also a football guy, and my brother liked AC Milan. And I searched it up. I could see, look, this team is successful. This team has good players. La la la, until Ibra was sold, and we went downhill after that.
That was 2012, right, when Ibra was sold. So you were following AC Milan, you know, up until that.
2006, 2007.
Nice.
I'm born in 99.
Nice, awesome. So you were able to see the Champions League win against Liverpool. Yes. That's awesome. And then you saw the Scudetto in 2011. You saw the Super. You saw the international. You saw the Coppa Italia. You saw the international, the Super Coppa. You saw the FIFA International Club Championship. Awesome, Johnny Benito. All right, man. So you're Pioli in. We've had a lot of Pioli outs today. We had you and Jan. You were the first one to agree with Jan about his Pioli. Anything else you want to add, Johnny Benito?
If other people want to ask me questions, but
yeah, absolutely. Anybody wants to ask Johnny Benito any questions, Jan, or even Hizno?
I think he's pretty much hit the nail on the head with most things. Like I said, I wouldn't say it's necessarily the management's fault either about not bringing in the right reinforcements all in one go. I mean, when you look at when Mirabelli and Fasone was there, they brought in the Magnificent Seven, and it was kind of like a full overhaul. It completely disrupted the balance of play, if you'd like. So I think little by little, every transfer market, you can start bringing in 2-3 quality additions. But he's right, in January, it's cost us by not backing the player and backing the manager, and he can only work with what he's got. And what he's got at the minute is some very good young talent mixed in with some average bums.
Right. Look, guys, I firmly believe that this team is good enough to keep the top 4 spot, and that's why I'm angry with Pioli. That's why, and I've seen his mistakes. The first mistake I saw was against Manchester United when he got caught with that Pogba, when he didn't have any countermeasures for Pogba. You know, as I told you guys, I coach. So if I was Solskjaer and I put in Pogba and he puts it I put him on the wing and he scores after 5 minutes, I'm high-fiving myself as a coach. I'm like, yes, I just scored a goal. And Pioli, if I was on the other side of the aspect and I see a coach do that, I feel like shit, I got fucked. So I think Pioli has his limitations. I can't remember if Eastbourne brought it up. My ideal thing would be Pioli to make the top 4, keep on going up until the World Cup, and then Mancini comes in and takes the helm. Anybody who's still here live, do you guys have any comments? Go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question for Yoga since you're Pioli in. So it's quite clear that the objective for, you could say, for the whole club is to make Champions League. So are you saying that if they do not make Champions League, you're still Pioli in? Because this, at the end of the day, this club is, as an owner, there's a business behind it. If you don't meet the target, what are we going to do?
That's a very good question. Anybody wants to respond to that? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll just quickly respond to that. That's fair enough, and I get what you're saying, but like I said, project restart, say for example, you want Allegri, you want Serie. Would you give them another season if they didn't make top 4 in the first year?
My response to that would be everyone's bound by the same rules. I mean, it happened to Gattuso. He missed up by just 1 point. So I
by 10 minutes. He messed up by 10 minutes, as Jan said.
10 minutes. That's all it was. But that's what I mean. So we can't keep going every time something will go right, get rid of a manager. Everybody wants his top class manager like Allegri and something. And if that didn't work out and you sack him, who are you going to get then? Guardiola. And if Guardiola missed out because the players are going to afford something happened, would you get rid of Guardiola? It'd be madness to do something like that.
But I mean, you bring a good point too. You bring a good point.
That's not me saying that he should stay if he misses top 4, because it would be a bit questionable. But I think with the right players, I think Pioli can take us a bit further.
But don't you think that? I mean, I understand 1 season and the manager out, maybe it's a bit of a revolving door system and it doesn't help anyone. But look at it this way: Pioli has not had just 1 season. He joined back in, I think, January last year. So he's coming up to 1.5 seasons, arguably. So I don't see why it wouldn't apply to him in this case.
So if you look
That's true.
His half season, he saved us from having an absolute embarrassment of a year. That could have gone down as well. Sorry,
Jen, real fast. And then keep on going, please. He did achieve his objective. Pioli. We have to give him that. His first objective, he achieved it. UEFA League. Okay, keep on.
Yeah, so he saved us in that respect. Like, he saved that season from being embarrassment. So in his first full season, look how well he's done. And then I think I said it to Roy a couple of weeks ago on the podcast. I said, if someone had said to you at the start of the season, you're going to have 50 plus injuries and your striker is going to spend half the season on bench and Pioli still gets top four, you'd be like, that's a miracle. You'd expect him to finish 5th, 6th, 7th with that, would you not? So what I'm saying is, after a full season, and he's still doing really well, and likelihood is we are going to finish in the top four, I'm fairly convinced. But even if we didn't buy whatever, does his whole season not prove to us that he should get another year with hopefully a fully fit squad and some more reinforcement?
But Jan, that's like saying that, okay, you accept having Pep Guardiola as your coach for 22 games, then in the last 16 games, you want Gianpaolo back. You got to judge it at the end, the last game. Where are we? If we're not there, we're not there. Something's got to change.
Yeah, no, but you've also got to look at the bigger picture in one respect. And like I said, look at all the injuries that we've had and stuff like that and think, hang on, he has actually really done a really good job with the players that he's had available at his disposal. To not have your striker who has scored 15 goals this season only available for half the season and to still be in the top four, it's fantastic. And then to not have Benacer for half the season, who was arguably our best midfielder last year, the partnership with him and Kessie, to not have him available, that's worrying. And then to go through to at one point having to play Gabia and Kalulu next to each other, or Kier and Kalulu. Kalulu coming to take his debut at centre back, not playing a professional minute and still getting results. It's fantastic. To go to Manchester with Swahili Mete in centre midfield and still play well with Manchester is fantastic. And the results have been there. Yeah, there has been some bad performances, but every club has bad performances and stuff. But when you look at the bigger picture and what players have been available, etc., he's done a fantastic job.
But okay, just one last thing. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Isn't that to say that Pioli has no one can dispute it. Pioli is able to grind out results, as we saw the first half of this season and the last half of the last season. But where I think a lot of the Pioli out crew are really up in arms against him is, why can't he continue grinding out points with such a bad team, or even now a better team that we've got so many people back? Why can't we just continue?
The whole squad is back.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole squad's only finally come back, but then what you've got to appreciate is the players that have been playing week in, week out while these players have been missing, and now coming up to the point where they're running out of gas. You can clearly see Kessie is running out of gas now. He's running on empty. His last few games have been poor. Tomori, he's starting to actually find that the Italian league's a bit harder. And so as much as these other players are coming back, he's starting to lose players a little bit in fitness terms. And there was no way that we was ever going to sustain winning games, grinding out results with the players not being there. And if you actually look at this squad isn't. It probably is just a top 4 team. So what he's actually done just shows how good of a manager he actually is and how far he could take us if you give him a few key reinforcements.
Got it. Guys, I want to bring in anybody else is welcome to come in if you have any Pioli and Piolia. Joga Benito, any last words you want to say, maybe to Jan or me or anybody else, Hosni, sorry, or anybody else?
I would also like to say that last games of Benacer have been really, really poor. So it's not only KCA who's been declining in form, it's also Benacer.
Yeah.
Benacer has been
very inconsistent.
I agree with that. I think you've got to factor in coming back from the injuries that he's had and trying to find his rhythm. I do agree he has been poor too.
But should we start Benacer against Benevento or not?
No, I think we should. It's going to cost controversy, but I'd actually say Tonali and Mete against Benevento.
That's a good question.
And give Kessie the rest he deserves, and give Benacer a bit of a rest because he's played quite a few minutes.
Yeah, I want everybody to answer that question. That's a really good question. Husni, what do you think? Do you think Benacer should be playing from the first minute against Benevento?
No, and I don't want anyone who's been underperforming to start either. So that's Tomori, who's slowly becoming a bit slow Mori. I want him benched. Romagnoli, if he wants to play the Raiola card, even I don't want him to start. Try out Gabbia. Gabbia seems. By the way, Gabbia, I don't know why he's being looked over. He was a big part of our unbeaten run. I don't know why he's drifted into obscurity. I want to see more of Tonali. And guys, if we're not going to make top 4, play Hauger. Give him the minutes. I never ever want to see Krunic again. There's something about Krunic. He must be adopted or something.
All right. What about you, Isborn? What do you think? If you're still there, Isborn, should Benacer start from the first minute?
No, I would like to see Tonali and Kessie starting.
You like to see
I think
Tonali?
Benacer needs some more time since coming back from injury, so he still needs time. So I'll go for Tonali and Kessie.
He is taking a long time to get back into match fitness. That is definitely true. How about you, Saif? If you're still here, Saif, what do you think? Should Benacer start the game?
I mean, Nasser. I think he has enough quality to turn things around because I think he has been through worse in times at Milan, and he still managed to turn things around. One player I would love to see drop though is Çalhanoğlu. The guy scored a goal against Sassuolo, and suddenly he's great all of a sudden. No, he's average, and he has been exposed. He turned out to be the biggest prank of the last year. Where is he? He's supposed to be the technical leader of this team. With Zlatan in or out, he's supposed to be the technical leader who's asking for 5 million every year. Every year. What does he actually do other than popping a few shots every now and then and scores? I would love to see him dropped and a bit of change of style of play because it's so boring now. It's so boring.
Saif, you bring a very good point when it comes to Çalhanoğlu. For an attacking midfielder to have only 3 goals, I see Carlo Moretti has wrote 2 goals, but it's 3 goals. For having only 3 goals for the whole season for an attacking midfielder, those are abysmal numbers. But also, he is the player in Serie A to have gotten the most crossbars and posts. But yes, it is true that Çalhanoğlu's numbers are quite bad.
Roy, no one should say that Chala should be dropped because if I know Pioli, he's probably going to start Krunic. I'd rather keep Chala on than Krunic.
Krunic,
seriously, why don't we change the formation this game? We need to change because I really think if we play the same, Benevento are going to be playing for their lives, like their lives depend on it. I think if we're going to play the same football, the same formation, we're not going to win this game. I want us to surprise teams. I want us to play exciting again because it's so bad. It's very bad. I see I'm not comparing, but I just see players like De Bruyne, like I don't know, David Silva of Sociedad. I see them playing and I almost cry. I look at Mr. Kebaboglu, who's playing for us now. He's doing nothing. I'm not being racist. I'm Muslim myself, and I'm just saying that he's shit. Yeah, he's shit. He has been exposed. I'd love for us to change formation this game round. Play maybe 3 of Tonali, Kessie, and Benacer, for example.
That's interesting. Let me ask Joga Benito, what do you think about Çalhanoğlu?
I was the one that said he was inconsistent. I don't think he's good enough for the big games. For the smaller teams against Benevento, Crotone, he might do the job, but against the Juventus, I think that if Çalhanoğlu starts against Juventus, we might drop points.
Wow. There's a lot of lack of faith right now in here. So, guys, latching on to what Saif said right there about a tactical formation, a different formation. I want to go one by one whether you agree whether or not Pioli should have a different formation and what formation. Jan, you start. Do you think Pioli should just keep on going with what he has, or should he make some changes to the formation?
I said it earlier on against Sassuolo. I think he's actually trying to tinker his formation slightly, but he can only tinker it so much with what's available to him, the squad availability of players, etc. It's easy for us all to sit here and say, "Oh, play 3-5-2, play 4-3-3." This isn't FIFA. It's not as simple as putting players in position and controlling them. It takes weeks to understand formations and stuff like that. And like I said, when you key players that you need for these formations to work, the best players, and 1 week they're injured, the next week they're suspended, blah blah blah. It's so hard to get to change formation. I think he's trying to slowly tweak it, and I think we saw it against Sassuolo with a 4-2-2-2 at the start. At the start of that match, and they went back to the 4-2-3-1,
which was a bad mistake. Sorry, keep on going.
What I will say is that there is 6 players at risk of suspension on Saturday, so don't be surprised if there's a lot of heavy rotation because
oh my god,
Teo, Rebic, Hakan, Castillo, Salamanca, and there's one more, and I can't think who it is. Dalot, I think it is. They're all at risk of suspension, so I wouldn't be surprised if there's a few rotations on Saturday to make sure them players are available for Juve. But I don't think a full formation change is needed. Just a couple of tweaks. But I'm going to have to go on the third, lads. It's been a pleasure.
All right, Jan, thank you so much. Much appreciated. I'll see you next time we're live. Thank you so much. Ciao. Forza Milan, Jan.
Yeah.
Bye, Jan.
All right, and let's go to our next guy, Isborg. Do you think Milan should have a different formation for against Benevento?
Yeah, I guess maybe Pioli should try, but I know he won't. Pioli is just a one-man tactic. He doesn't have the balls to do it. So I would like to see Brahim Diaz in place of Hakan. Or
yes,
Hauge. I like to try Hauge.
Or Hauge. Interesting.
Yeah.
But you think that Pioli just doesn't have it in? He's not capable of doing it. Okay, so you're super against what Pioli is doing. Isno, what about you? Do you think they should do a different formation?
Well, at this point of time, no. The team morale is down, and if he had wanted to try and train with a different formation, he should have done it in the international 2-week break, which obviously he didn't. But I want to point out something, that we should try different players in the same formation. So I see this comment here by Carlo Moretti. I think this guy is a genius. Try Hauge in a number 10 role. If you look at Hauge's highlight reel, he has somewhat played of a number 10, by the way. So we have players that have potential in the role, but we seem to keep preferring the same underperforming players. For example, like Hakan when he doesn't have a good run of games, and Pioli's go-to man, Krunic, whenever he doesn't have an idea. So it's same formation, but try different players.
Interesting. How about you, Jorge Benito?
I'm the same as Isno. I think that we shouldn't change formation in this part of the season because it would add more confusion to the players because they are very familiar with the formation they are playing right now. In my opinion, I would try Dalot instead of Theo because Theo also played very poorly against Lazio and exposed Tomori a couple times. I would also like Brahim Diaz instead of Çalhanoğlu, but only in the second half. I think we should keep Çalhanoğlu in the first half to see how he deals with their defenses. And Ibra is coming back, so there's a bit of creativity added there. He has an aerial presence. I don't know, Selemakers, Rebic, what can we change? Maybe Kjaer instead of maybe Romagnoli instead of Kjaer because Kjaer has played so much lately, and that's it. We don't have other players.
Yeah, that is true. Now, one thing that Ibrahimovic definitely does is that he adds order to the team because of his technical and tactical, experience. He's one of the best players in that position in the world. So just having Ibra does solve a lot of solutions, but we can't rely on this player forever. So this brings me to the next question. Say if I think it was your idea to do a different formation. That's why I'm not asking you. So you've already said that you wanted a different formation. But I want to ask you guys, what are for next season? Who would you want to see take over? Or become a partner to Ibrahimovic, because it's going to be a topic that we're going to face this summer anyway. So let's just face it right now, and just to diverge a little bit. Let me start with Eastbourne. Eastbourne, who are your favorite strikers for AC Milan next season?
Oh yeah, if we can get Belotti for a cheap price, then I think we should try and get Belotti, or else we should try for players outside Serie, like Daka, Patson Daka. He's still young.
Sorry, who? Who?
Patson Daka. Salzburg. He's
okay. I don't know this player. Keep on going.
Salzburg. Yeah, he's like the same talent, and his playing style is like Haaland, and he's still young. So I think it'll be a good fit for Milan.
Okay, all right. So Belotti and this other player that plays in the Norwegian squad. Okay. All right. Okay, Hisno, how about you? Oh, sorry. Let me read your name. Husni, sorry, Husni. My apologies. Husni, how about you? What would you say?
For me, and I think looking at the reality of the squad and its finances, definitely no one famous is going to come. And my personal opinion, I don't think even Belotti wants to come to Milan, regardless of what's going on with Torino, because he doesn't want to be looking over his shoulder and find that Krunic is playing behind him. So who I would really want to see, and I said it somewhat last year, but it just didn't happen. I want to see someone who has experience, who's clinical, and I am quite okay if he's also passes, you could say, the 32, 33 mark. The name that I was floating, in my mind before everything settled last year in last summer transfer window was actually to get Cavani in. The way that I see is that Cavani has a quite similar profile to Zlatan. And guys, I don't know if anyone sees this, but without Zlatan, we have zero aerial ability in the box. By the way, no one is putting in those headers from across. I know we get some headers from the set piece, but from across, we're getting zero headers. And I think this is one of the reasons why Mandzukic came, because if you look at his highlight reel, he's actually scores a lot of headers. But other than these two, I don't see anyone else putting those headers in from across.
That is definitely true. We don't have anybody scoring with a head, aside from maybe our defenders on corner kicks. But in open play, there's no player capable of scoring with their heads. So, any names? Any names? Oh, Cavani. So Cavani, Cavani scored tonight, by the way. Guys, Roma lost 6-2. Roma is the most embarrassing team in the world. But anyway, Cavani, my issue with Cavani was his age. But if we were supposed to bring him instead of Ibra, then yes. Would I bring him in with Ibra? I don't know. I don't know about that. I'm not sure. Any other names? Do you have, Isnu, before I move on?
Well, for number 10, the way that I see Arsenal, they're not going to make the Europa League even. I would actually go for Odegaard. I know that Maldini has a good link with Real Madrid. Odegaard, it seems to be a player that has potential, but is somewhat lingering because he's not really a Real Madrid starter quality. He would be one. Then in terms of the number 9 as a Zlatan deputy, I would go with one of Rayola's guys. What's his name? What's his name? The Feyenoord guy, one of Rayola's.
Malan.
Malan, yeah. I will try him. Just get someone young, fine, and Rayola's going to screw us in a couple of years, but we need to get those goals up and running.
All right, cool. All right, how about you? Who's next? Joga Benito, you're next.
The way I see the summer is that we should upgrade playmaker, Çalhanoğlu spot. We should upgrade right winger because Selemakers isn't good enough, and we should also find a striker. So we have to decide the priorities. And in my opinion, I don't think Torino will save from relegation. If I'm watching correctly, they have the same points as the other two, Cagliari and Benevento.
Yeah.
So we hope for Torino to be relegated and to get Belotti on the cheap.
Okay. All right.
Odegaard is an interesting name, but the way I see this Milan team is that it relies very much on Hakan, because if we don't have Hakan playing very good, who does create chances? Kessie, I rarely see some glimpses of brilliance from him. Benasser, he's been dreadful this part of the season. Rebic likes to shoot. Salamakers, who would create something in this team?
How about an Isco?
Isn't Isco like 30?
I think I'm probably.
He's very old.
You think 30 is very old?
Yes.
I think Isco will be an excellent addition. A player with incredible career. He's won 4 Champions League already. He's won under 21. I think 30 is not that old. I think you can still go top level up until 35. I mean, remember Cannavaro won the Ballon d'Or at 32. Modric won the Ballon d'Or at 30 something.
Yes, but Isco isn't Modric. Why is he sitting on the bench for Real Madrid if he's that good?
No. Okay, but we're looking at Milan and what are options. Obviously, do you think Isco is not better than Çalhanoğlu?
I think he's better than Çalhanoğlu, but he's older. He has almost no resale value. He has almost no resale value if we buy him. He is getting benched at Real Madrid. He rarely plays. I mean,
yes,
maybe 2 years ago, but not now.
So you wouldn't go for Isco. Isco is not a name that you would like. All right, but Belotti is a name. Yeah, go ahead.
For Yoga, you mentioned that Hakan's a playmaker, but I don't know if you've seen this, but Hakan, since he came back from international duty, he likes to take these shots from outside the box like he's still playing with the national team. I don't see much of the Hakan that you rightly mentioned out as a playmaker, lays off the ball, tries to cross it as much. I think we're seeing a different Hakan, by the way. Do you agree?
No. I said we are supposed to get the creativity from Hakan. I'm not saying that he's putting the creativity right now. He's supposed to do something. He does something different on the pitch. Because I've also seen Hakan drop very deep during the games. So Hakan drops deeper. There's no Ibra on the pitch. Who creates something on the pitch? This is my question. I don't understand.
Yes, it does look like that without Ibra, that attacking force is, and it gets worse. It gets worse. Like in the beginning, when Ibra came in and he gave the team some kind of organization, it seemed like that tactical spirit kind of stayed there after Ibra was injured. But now, with so many games with Ibra out, they've lost it. They've lost that organization that Ibra was providing. There's nothing to glue them together. When they play those offensive plays, it's a mess. How many counterattacks did we mess up? Yeah, go ahead. And then I want to get Saif in also because I haven't asked him yet. Go ahead. What was that? Yes.
I mean, if you like you asked me before, I'm very much in for a formation change. Because
okay, yeah. Saif, I know that you wanted to do the formation change, but I want to know what players would you want to, if you want to expand on your formation change, go ahead. But also after that, tell me which players would you get for next season?
Oh, I meant I want to get players like if we change the formation, which is probably
Okay.
not gonna happen. But if we
Yes.
like change to a 4-4-2, we definitely need a left midfielder because I think Salamakers is actually good enough.
Okay.
Like even at the Lazio game, when he unrightfully got subbed off, I think he was our best player. He was actually playing Çalhanoğlu's role, where
Yeah.
he was like absent most of the game. He was hiding. He
Good
did
point.
a lot. He took shots. He passed the ball. He was energetic. I think he would do very well in the right midfielder spot, and he can actually also help on the defensive part. I would actually get someone like Ruben Gosens from Atalanta, which I know it may be hard, but I think he would complement Theo Hernandez very well in that left-sided area of the pitch.
Can I have a question?
Sure.
Yes.
Wouldn't Theo work better as a left midfielder than left back? Because he's not very good at defending.
Theo Hernandez?
Yeah, I completely agree.
Good question. Good question. What do you guys think? Saif, go ahead. Finish your thing and also answer Jogapini's question. But I want everybody else to answer.
Well, you're right, but at the beginning of the season, even I was a suspect of this. I was the one who was saying on form he is the best left back in the world. I was actually saying that.
I
was
still think
starting.
he's on his way to being that.
Yeah, me too. He's just having a very hard time now. Like even defensively, he wasn't the best, but though he was much better than this. We're saying that his problem is defensively. What does he do when he goes and attacks? He doesn't even put good crosses anymore. He messes up more than half of the passes. So I don't really think it's a problem of him moving further up the field. It's just a problem of him regaining that confidence and that mental toughness.
Got you. What's your I don't know if the sound is a little bit strange. It was perfect.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, now it's perfect. Okay.
Yeah. If you want to go get a striker, I would definitely say Belotti. I have wanted Belotti since like 2017. I love that striker. He's perfect, you know. He can dribble, he's strong, he's fast, he can jump, which is what we need. He's not the tallest, but he can jump. And he's clinical. How many times do we get to the attacking third of the teams and we act like idiots in front of the goal? No one has the balls to shoot. I think he would help in that department, and I would really love him in the team.
A lot of Milan fans agree with you on the Belotti thing. I think almost everybody here agrees with you that Belotti would be a good option. Okay, so Joga Benito brought up a really good question there, and what you guys, everybody else, to answer. Is Theo a better left winger, or should he stay left back? Isborn, you tell me first.
Theo actually lacks that defending style of play, so I guess it's better if we try him as a attacking left on the left wing. But the problem is who will we play as left back? So that's
Who's it?
I somewhat disagree because Theo, his advantage or what's special about him is that he has his counter-attacking speed. So if you want to put him on the left, and once you break into a counter-attack, I just don't know whether he'll get used to playing not so far behind, because what I've seen in special is that, okay, when the opposition is very much in our box, he somehow gets possession and he bursts forward. Now, if he was a left midfield, he would be slightly up. And I think the expectation for left midfield is to get into the space and not necessarily run with the ball. So I just don't see it working.
Those are excellent points. And that's something that also we brought up a while back. One of Theo's strengths is his ability to start from behind, from the defensive line. That has been something that has kind of molded him into what he is. Joga Benito, you brought this up. What are your opinions on this? Why do you think he's better?
I think Theo would work better as a left mid?
Yes.
Well, as I said before, I don't think his defending is very good for Syria football, at least. Maybe in other countries like Spain, where they have most of the teams have attacking fullbacks. I think he can work at left mid because he has the dribbling. Maybe not so much for crossing, but he used to be a very good. He used to be a very good offensive fullback last year, and in the first part of the year, but he suddenly faded out. I think he's also very dependent on Rebic. If Rebic doesn't play, he doesn't have the same link up with Leao.
Yeah, that is true. That has been brought up.
And Saif brought up Gosens to play as a left mid. And I have another question.
Go ahead.
What Atalanta player that was sold from Atalanta performed at his new club? Because they have a system there that works for players like Pasalic, Malinovsky. Bring Pasalic to Milan. What will he do? Will he play the same that he plays at Atalanta?
Pasalic played for Milan.
But did he play the same for Milan as he played for Atalanta?
No.
Atalanta is a team that doesn't rely on individuals that much. If Ilicic, it was Gomez phase out, there is Malinovsky, there is Pasalic, there is Gosens.
I would say in a change of formation with a 4-4-2 on the left midfield, not left back, left midfield position, I think he would complement Theo well. He has the qualities certainly to play there, and also he plays for Germany. They also kind of play three at the back a lot, but still, I think at the left midfield position, he would do very well in Milan. That's my opinion.
Gotcha. And Eastbourne had a question that I thought was very interesting. He said, okay, so you Saif answered. Saif said Gosens, but if we do take, Gosens is a left midfielder. Saif said, Eastbourne said, if we put Theo left wing, who's going to play left back? So, Joga Benito, who would play left back if Theo was playing left wing?
Mikolenko. He looks like a great prospect from Dynamo Kiev. He is a starter ahead of Shivchenko for Ukraine national team. He's very young. He shouldn't cost that much. He's great going forward. From what I've seen. But I also think that there is a difference between left mid in a 3-5-2, in a 3 at the back formation, and the left mid in a 4 at the back formation.
Yeah, there is. There is. But Milan would be playing in a 4-4-2, so you would need a left back that is
a more offensive left mid.
Okay. All right. Okay, guys. So, by the way, thank you for joining the stream. I really appreciate it. Every time I'm going to do a Milan news, after I go through all my reports, I'm going to invite anybody who wants to come in and tell their piece. So I want to end it here. I want to ask each one of you guys what your predictions are for Milan Benevento. And then if you want to add any last words, you're more than welcome to do so. So, Eastbourne, you go first. Predictions for Milan Benevento, last words, anything you want to say. Go ahead.
I think it's going to be 3-1. I would like to see Ibra back on the score sheet. And probably, let's see if Pioli can play hockey. That will be interesting. And also, we need to rush as the next game is against the UA, so We need to rush some players. We don't
Yes,
need to risk. Yeah.
you bring a great point, guys. Our next game after Benevento is Juve, and like Jan said earlier, we have 7 players that are right now on the watch list for a yellow card, which would be terrible to lose players for that purpose against Juve. Very tricky, very tricky. Hey, but Pioli is the one who put the team in this situation, in my opinion. Any last words, Isborn?
Nothing. And cheers, guys, for and thank you, Roy, for having us here. And
Hey, no problem.
yeah, we will carry
No
on
problem.
next time.
Yes, sir, Isborn. And thank you for
And Forza
always
Milan.
being present. Forza
Yes.
Milan, Isborn.
Forza Milan.
Yizno, Hasni, tell us what you think. Predictions, last words, anything you got to say. Get it off your chest.
My prediction is 1-0. Milan's going to win it. The reason being is that even though we're in a shit form, I think Benevento is even more shit than us. So we're probably going to scrape this one through. And in terms of the last words, it pains me to say it because we're going to have to live with it for one season. Fuck Inter. I really hope something bad happens in terms of that they get some points deduction. They don't pay salaries. Fuck them. It's going to be painful for one season. But my one question to you is that what's your schedule for doing this? Your streams?
My Milan news streams?
Yeah.
It's random. It's random. Like, for example, I wanted to do it on Tuesday, but I wasn't able to because I had work. I wanted to do it on Wednesday. I wasn't able to because of work. Today, my work starts in just about half an hour, so I could have done it. But every week is different. Eventually, if we can get it to grow as much as we can, I would like to do it maybe 3 times a week: Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, or Thursday. It depends on the schedules. Right now, it's not set in stone.
Okay, cool. Well, anyway, good job. I enjoy listening to it and commenting. I think you remember my comments.
Thank you. I appreciate your call. Even you, both. Wait, sorry, Hasno. Thank you for your comments. Your comments are so funny. I love reading your comments. Eastbourne too. I love reading your comments. They're really funny. But thank you so much for joining today and giving your 2 cents. Yes, fuck Inter 1-0. Let's hope. Jaga Benito, what are your predictions? Any last words you have? Anything you want to say? Go ahead. Tell us.
2-1. A very hard win. I think Zlatan will get on the score sheet.
Yeah.
And this will be a very important game.
Yes.
Thank you for getting me into the stream. It was
problem.
very, very exciting from commenting to actually communicating with other people.
Nice.
through this. And Forza Milan.
Yes, sir. Forza Milan.
Have a nice day.
Thank
Ciao.
you, Jaga Benito. Thank you so much for joining us today. Much appreciated. And thank you for your comments and you being part of the stream and Forza Milan. 2-1. 2-1. Okay, so we had a 3-0. I think Eastbourne said 3-0, right?
3-1.
You said 3-1.
3-1. Yes.
Hansi said 1-0. Jaga Benito said 2-1. And last but not least, Saif. Give us your predictions, last words, anything you want to say.
I would say it's gonna be 2-0. We're gonna go 1 up, and as always, we're gonna defend and try to sit back and invite pressure. But because Benevento doesn't have quality players, I think we will manage to scrape a 2-0 win.
All right. Okay. Any last words you want to say? Anything can be anything.
Yeah, before I go, I would just like to say well done for the channel, you, Ari, the Liart, Gian.
Thank you.
No, I always hoped for a Milan channel like this, to invite fans to. Everyone has their, like, I see this stuff a lot in England, and it's nice to see it in Italy also.
Yes.
And
Nice.
I hope it's only bigger things from here, man. You all deserve it.
I hope so too. Thank you so much for always being present, and thank you for all you guys. And yes, by the way, Ari is back this weekend. Ari Ari is the main guy in the channel. It's his channel. So he's the main guy, but he wasn't able to do any content for a whole month because he had other things he had to take care of. And one of the reasons why Ari got me, Laird, and Aaron, who also right now, is because Ari is not going to be available all the time, so he wants other people to kind of hold the fort down for him for when he's not here. But anyway, guys, thank you so much. Let's hope that Milan win on Saturday. My prediction is 6-0 for AC Milan. I will. I say 3 goals Ibrahimovic, 1 goal penalty Kessie, and Rebic and Salamakers.
You forgot Gigio.
Yes, I'm always going to give you these crazy predictions. But guys, thank you so much. So we have established Pioli out for the most part. Joga Benito was Pioli in, Jan was Pioli in, Eastbourne Pioli out, Saif half and half. Hansi, man, can I just call you by what? Can we just reveal who you are?
You can if you want.
All right. It's easier for me. Skillard. So, guys, this is Skillard. So, Skillard is Pioli out for sure. So, guys, thank you very much for joining the stream. Much love. Forza Milan forever. We will see you. Maybe tomorrow we're going to do a preview. I'm not sure yet, but we will see you definitely on Saturday for the watching. So, everybody, ciao. Forza Milan.
Ciao, Forza Milan.
Forza Milan.
Goodbye.
Milan per sempre.